think some motherfuckers were asking me for a protocol on how to instruct or how to lead gestation up into like a natural home birth. First of all, I'll tell you right now, natural home birth is the natural conclusion to any strong relationship. I've been rotating a theory that I think is extremely valid, that the more drugs a woman needs in pregnancy to make a delivery, the weaker the leadership was during gestation. Because ultimately, it is a two-way street. It does take two to tango. If you're a male leader in your household and you really are a man of the house and man of the kingdom, your woman will draw a copious amount of strength off of just the fumes of your sales. Just your mere presence is sort of the novocaine. It is sort of that hormonal transduction. So I think the strongest relationships naturally lead to a woman wanting to do it in a natural environment that she can curate on her own. She can fucking design the room the way she wants to design it. Let me tell you something. These water births are super legit. This was my first water birth, and it's just super easy. Little inflatable tub, pop in a fucking hose, run the line up into the fucking shower head, fill it up with hot water, boom, little playpen. And she's just in there chilling, switching positions, and the delivery is extremely seamless. At least it was in my case, as long as the diet's on point. It was fun. It was fun. I'll tell you something. That Valkyrie Athenian warrior fucking battle cry that women do, shit's strong. That shit hits for sure. It's like one of those echoes. I think Maximus fucking in Gladiator said that what you do in this life echoes in eternity. Those types of screams you'll never ever replicate in nature. There's just nothing that compares to it. It gets etched in your fucking head. 100%. Some other little fucking Snapple facts for you. During a pregnancy, it is 100% appropriate for a woman to sip on, and I'm not talking shotgunning, I'm talking sipping organic, biodynamic, natural wine. A lot of European women have been doing it for ages, Italians, French women. Only in America do we vilify and bastardize alcohol usage during pregnancy, and it's for obvious reasons because traditional industrial alcohol is fucking disgusting. It's wretched. It's got sawdust in it, fucking rat talons. It's a fucking medley of trash in a fucking barrel. But if you do it right and you pick the right vineyard, because let me tell you something, in the modern realm, the beauty of modernity is that you do have these psycho fanatical freaks who literally dedicate their life and their bloodline to growing the finest fucking grapes in the finest regions. And I'm talking, they have this down to a natural science. Even like the way the vineyard is pointed, the way they're planted, the angle of the sun, the way it hits the grapes, the altitude, the moisture, the irrigation, all that shit. So if you're getting fucking quality grapes, hey, little fucking sip of wine here and there ain't gonna hurt the pregnancy whatsoever. And right before labor in the natural setting, like if the water breaks a little bit early and you're in pre-labor, she can sip on a glass of wine and just kind of relax before the first stage kicks in. Not harmful whatsoever. And that, again, this is a fucking European ethos. And it seems to me when it comes to these natural processes, they've definitely have that native vibe towards it. But it was fun. It was fun. It was a pleasure to be a part of the entire thing from A to Z and just witness the paradox, the paradox that death actually is what spawns life. Um, you know, in the womb, there's during the growth process. of the embryo. You know, there's moments in time where the embryo will have like a webbed claw for hands. That's literally what it would look like on a fucking scan. And it's only through death, it's only through those cells dying and sloughing off and going into the waste that reveals the human hand. And so, even before, I found the metaphor very, very ironic. Even before a beautiful life is born, a lot of processes are dying and being killed off in order for that life to happen. And those of you that have a giga brain can definitely extrapolate that metaphor out into a lot of different processes in life. So we're gonna shift gears. Someone asked me earlier today, this is just a random musing. Someone asked me my thoughts on Naval Ravikant. And I don't know too much about him. I've seen some of his quotes in circulation on Twitter. I've seen he's definitely got some hard hitting one liners that have definitely been immortalized in a lot of circles. Dude seems like a deep thinker. Um, and I didn't really know what I thought about him when somebody asked, because I'm not just not familiar with his work. Someone had mentioned that he might be a counterpart to mine or a part of the yin yang puzzle. So I fired up a talk with him, um, with this Kapil, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. And I'm just listening to him, and it just dawned on me, man, these tech billionaires. Tech has not paid off in a good way, my friends. And it is the easiest way to make money, bar none. That is a certified fact. You get very, very, very wealthy in tech, no doubt about it. However, the fact that there's no social aspect to it whatsoever, like if you go back 70 years in history, in order to get giga rich, in order to get the kind of rich that these fucking tech motherfuckers are, you had to literally rub shoulders and grease palms with the local constabulary. You had to have fucking connections to the fucking local law enforcement. You had to fucking, there's fucking bribery and fucking skullduggery and back alley deals and fucking like Mayor Daley in 1960 Chicago, shit like that. And so there was a very much a social aspect to stratifying the hierarchy. And so when I was thinking about Naval, obviously those of you that are familiar with my work, I absolutely do respect anyone who's mastered the game of capitalism and who's beaten the game. But but it is a cursed path because the era of the bad boy is over and it's been dead for some time. Because every man in the modern world is if you want to make big money, you're pretty much forced to make money in a super nerdy gay way. It's just what it is. It's just what the modern landscape offers. I mean, the best ways to make money are fucking dorky. Crypto, I mean, we can go on and on ad infinitum. They're fucking nerdy as fuck. And it's the consequences of this are fucking staggering. I remember it's funny because I come from the era, I'm an 80s baby, so I'm lucky because in my 20s, yeah, we had internet, but it was dinosaur internet. I remember fucking 56K modem. I remember America Online. The bottom line was I'm a hybrid. I'm a hybrid in the sense that I was around in the preeminence of internet, but I also was around in the brick and mortar times. Even gambling as a full suite experience in my 20s, if I wanted to place a bet for large action, I had to literally get on a fucking plane, sail through the skies in an aluminum can, land, jump in a fucking limo. If the line was too long for cabs, this was pre-Uber when they only had cabs in Vegas. And if I wanted to fucking get some action down and the cab line was snaking around, it was too long, I'd have to fucking pull out a hundo, go up to a limousine driver, toss him the 100, tell him to step on it, floor it across the fucking strip. This dude's bobbing and weaving on the fucking highway. I'm telling him I got a bet to place. We got to get there, depending on the time, right? Because everything was time dependent when I was in my 20s. We're talking like early 2000s. Early 2000s. So if I made a sale or I got a large bag in my possession and I wanted to go fire on a game, I had to fucking book a last minute flight, Southwest, boom, get on, land. If the cab line's long, I got to hop in the limo, boom, he gets me there. By the time I get to the sports book, which was super time dependent because live betting wasn't even a thing. So if you missed the game by a minute at tip off and you just literally got on a fucking 45-minute flight to Vegas from LA, you're fucked. You ain't getting action down on your bet. So if you like something, there were many times where I literally walked up to the fucking counter, and when I slid the fucking bricks of cash across the counter, I had like 45 seconds to spare before first pitch. And then there were other times where I wasn't so fortunate and I just couldn't place the bet at all. And you just went through that whole fucking process of greasing people up, fucking tipping this motherfucker to make this happen, speed this up here, fucking hike this line, call this motherfucker, make sure you're the first guy to get through the door when you land, all that shit. So it was a full suite experience. And what I'm telling you is when I had to place a bet in my 20s, it was inherently a social experience. I had to talk to like 45 different people before I even got to Vegas, before I'm all settled in. You know what I mean? And you're at that point, there's no crypto, there's no fucking e-commerce. So you're literally transporting duffel bags of cash. Like I come from that era where you win $1 million bet and you want to get that money right away. Vegas will pay you in bricks. And now you got to walk out of a casino with $1 million in a duffel bag. It ain't that fucking convenient, but there's a romance to that experience because you're just in you're in Sin City. You're where the alert that, games of chance are late or open fucking 24 hours a day. So it forces you to be social. You win a big bet, you playing craps, anything you do, you're always going to get a nice dinner in Vegas. Like that's always gonna happen. The best steakhouses are open late as fuck. So then you're gonna go sit down and go to dinner. Then you're gonna get a drink. Then you're meeting people, right? So the whole thing had this built-in gregariousness. Even the way you had to close deals in my 20s. There were some nights I'd be waiting to make a sale. There's a bet I wanted to place the next morning. I would literally have to sit at a coffee house sometimes till 9 p.m. at night, sipping back-to-back macchiatos, waiting for a motherfucker in a bowler hat and a trench coat with fucking fisherman boots to walk in the door. I still remember when these motherfuckers would walk in the door, that fucking jingle ball on the fucking door. You hear the fucking door jingle. Motherfucker would come in, sit down. We would ink a deal. I'd get a bag, and then boom, I'm off to the races the next morning. So even just doing typical basic commerce, you had to make eye contact with motherfuckers. There was no fucking hiding behind avatars. There was none of that bullshit. And if you don't think that that's going to develop a razor sharp motherfucking charisma when you're doing face to face sales, you are mega tripping. There is nothing better than just being in the arena every day, doing deals and everything fucking handshakes and face to face. And I got to experience that my entire fucking 20s. Full suite experience. It ain't like that today. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why Vegas has been dismantled. Vegas is a devastated land right now. It's a bad land. It's a fucking wasteland. No one even really wants to go to Vegas because there's just so many other more convenient options. You got fucking crypto gaming. You got fucking sports books in every other state. No one gives a fuck anymore. The allure has been destroyed for all intents and purposes. So you ain't gonna recapture those experiences in the modern world. And like even those of us who are the most adventurous are kind of forced to go into these lame avenues of making money, right? Everything's fucking remote. And the consequences of this socially on our youth, I'm telling you, give it 10 years and watch the fucking social retardation that you see spawning from everyone just making money from their fucking home and shooting emails and jumping on a quick phone call. And just the amount of energy that you had to have to run around town, getting valet, getting fucking rental cars, landing at the fucking airport. I mean, you're talking literally a full fucking day just to get a bet down. It's like a 10, 11-hour investment. And not only did you just invest 11 hours of your day, you might just get there and you might get wiped out to zero in like 2 hours and might have to go home and restart the whole process. It's another 11 hours back. By the time you fucking recapture your mental game, by the time you're settled in, by the time you're home, by the time you got your routine finished, you're at home and your whole day has been pissed away. And it's a fucking shame that some of you motherfuckers will never get to experience that. So yeah, the era of the bad boy is done. It's over. I mean, bad boys are down horrendous in the modern world. Down horrifically. Because you gotta adapt or be killed. There's another piece that I wanted to harp on for a second. There's this common misconception that I see everywhere on Twitter where a lot of young men have somehow been inculcated with the idea that as a male, you're supposed to be very protective of your energy. Like who you let into your energy, what kind of negativity you expose yourself to. That is the gayest fucking thing I've ever heard by a mile, because men by nature, by our very nature, are men don't take on the energy of other beings like women do. Women are very susceptible to negativity, to negative energy, to negative spirit, shit like that. Men, not so much. Men, not so much. You know what I'm saying? The county coroner can be fucking picking up literally bone scraps from a motherfucker who just got into a head-on collision on the highway, and that motherfucker can do his job, collect the fucking grizzle and human bones scattered all over the fucking highway, and guess what? When he goes home to his wife and kids, he ain't dumping that negative energy on them. Men are flame retardant in that way. We're flame retardant. Like the flame doesn't really bite deeply when men are operating in a high performance position that requires a tremendous amount of stress. Neurosurgeons also ring a bell. Motherfuckers who are drilling skulls open and doing craniotomies and clamping aneurysms. I mean, these motherfuckers are, you got to be cut from a different cloth to want to be doing something like that. Like we all know that's not a normal path. You got to be relatively kind of sadistic in your own head to be doing that type of shit, to be playing God with other people's lives. And these motherfuckers are in there drilling people's heads open, removing the top like a fucking piece of glass, going in there and fucking with the circuitry in people's brains. And they come home to their wife and kids, and that energy don't rub off on them either. Men are very, very naturally resistant towards energy. You know, there's a lot of rhetoric on Twitter right now about men sleeping with trashy women or stuff like that, and how it's just as perilous for men to go down this avenue because that is a complete fucking crock of shit. I know so many fucking Casanovas who've ran through tons of women. Men do not pick up the craziness or insanity or energy of women the same way that women do to men. It's just not the case. We all know, if you analyze it deep enough, you know you can get away with being with a crazy ass chick for a short period of time, and you walk away from that and it just sloughs right off your fucking back like water. Come on, baby. Who the fuck you trying to fool here? Men are naturally durable as fuck, as I've always said. So the energy just doesn't rub off. And for that reason, I have always enjoyed taking on the toughest cases, toughest challenges. I'll talk to everybody, by the way. I talk to everybody. I talk to the biggest losers on earth. I'll talk to fucking crackheads, psychos, criminals, fucking robber barons. I don't give a fuck. I will sit down with anyone and have a conversation. I don't care how gory. I don't care how graphic. I don't care how fucked up clinically someone is. I'll have a conversation because I'm walking away from that and I'm very thick skinned. That is not going to perturb my life or my psyche. I can go in, have the performance, and then boom, compartmentalize and check out. And compartmentalization is 100% a male feature, bona fide male feature. And I think a lot of you motherfuckers are afraid to expose yourself to some of these darker energies in other people. and you're doing yourself a massive disservice socially, because that's really where you fucking kind of tickle the underbelly of the beast and learn the most about human nature, is by dealing with motherfuckers who are not considered classically normal. And so lack of exposure to that, there's no other way to see it as just a preservation of innocence, which is a feminine trait. Women should absolutely have their innocence preserved, and men should have theirs taken away as early as possible. It circles perfectly into my point about how, here's another bullshit piece of rhetoric for you guys to fucking chew on. Let me tell you this right now. This is a bona fide lie. This idea that winners and killers only hang out with winners and killers, that rich motherfuckers only hang out with rich motherfuckers. Get the fuck out of here. You want both. Real winners have a cadre of both. Every winner that I know that's a true winner, that's crushing it in their field, has tons of fucking losers on their team. I don't think you motherfuckers truly understand how utilitarian losers are. And when I say loser, I mean net worth. All right, that's how we're gauging it here. We're just talking about someone who's just broke or never handled large sums of money or just doesn't know how to play the game of capitalism. That's what we classically would call a loser. So here's the situation. Let me explain this to you. We all know that the smartest motherfuckers that you know right now, think about this. The people that you love, that you would want to smoke on a fucking Tuscan balcony, smoking a cigar. The smartest motherfuckers that you would love to speak to in your personal life are most likely not very flush with cash. We all know these guys. We all know geniuses that have unbelievable, unbridled knowledge and wisdom about everything. But for some reason, they don't know how to execute for themselves, and they don't know how to self-promote, and they don't know how to make a buck. But they're smart as fuck. We all know these people, and they're very interesting to talk to. And the reason being for that is that losing teaches you everything about life. That's a fucking fact. Winning teaches you absolutely nothing about life. Nothing. Zero. There is zero wisdom to be gleaned from winning. All of life lessons are taught when you get your ass handed to you. So naturally, losers are always extremely fucking wise. I'll tell you right now, some of the best fucking advice I've ever gotten in my life has been from straight fucking losers. I'm talking business advice, even fucking crypto calls. I'll tell you this. 3 years ago in crypto, early on, I was I ran up a massive bag. I ran up an 8-figure bag. Or it might have been 2020. And you motherfuckers won't believe who was giving me my calls. It was some broke motherfucker living in a dormitory in like Chicago. Broke. Broke. And I was going to him for the crypto calls, even though at the time I had a deep network and I could have talked to motherfuckers with like 9-figure portfolios. I don't want to talk to those motherfuckers. I want to talk to the guy who's in the trenches, who doesn't have bread, who's literally trying to fucking sift through the fucking haystack to find these gem calls because his literal life is fucking dependent on it. This motherfucker better make good calls or he's gonna miss a fucking massive cycle. And I know for a fact there's tons of motherfuckers on this show listening right now who you don't have much money, but you know you're fucking talented traders. You make fucking great calls all the time. You just don't have the fucking capital or size to make a fucking difference. So my point is, a motherfucker like me, I'm getting the best calls of my life. And every time I'd get on the phone with this kid, he'd be like, I don't understand why you're talking to me. He's like, you have access to these fucking discords, the fucking group chats. Why are you getting the advice from me? And I told him, look, man, it's the sincerity. It's the sincerity. Like your calls, your picks are gonna be as pure, untainted as humanly possible because you have to win. You're hungry. So I'm gonna ride with you. And by the way, his narratives, everything he would express to me was geniusly fucking articulated. It's not like this guy was feeding me spoons of bullshit because I have a great detector for that. This motherfucker was on point. He was calling the narratives out before they were happening. So I literally rode a broke college kid's fucking picks who had $0 to his name. I rode that shit to 8 figures. And my point is, if you're a real leader and you're really the guy, You can turn anybody into a winner on your team. There's like that the loser dichotomy gets very foggy after a while. It gets very hazy. The lines get very, very blurred if you're a true leader, because you'll bring out the best. You will literally make losers look like winners if they're on your squad. And some of these guys have a ton of fucking heart. You know what I'm saying? They're just genetically cucked in the sense that like they have multiple generations of family members that simply just never made money. So it's kind of genetically encoded in them to not really be that ambitious, et cetera, et cetera. Because I do think money is genes. Money is 100% genetic. Like the ability to generate money, the kind of numbers you play with, it's genetic. If you got fucking royal blood who's been dealing with large sums of fucking money, I mean, I can fucking paradrop you in the Oblast in fucking Russia with nothing, and I'm sure you'll be rich in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely a genetic component to this. So my point is the losers. You want both is the fucking moral of the story. You want fucking both. I want advisement from the 9-figure motherfuckers, but I'm not gonna fucking discount the kid in his fucking dormitory who's putting in 13 hours a day of fucking due diligence. I ain't writing that motherfucker off. I want to talk to him because I want my ears to the ground and I want to understand what the common man has to say, because those guys usually have a true finger on the fucking pulse. So I'll tell you right now, the most talented squads in the world have a motley crew of losers and winners and everything, every fucking thing in between. It ain't just all A1 shark killers. Those teams do not work well. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I don't know if you motherfuckers remember the Vegas Golden Knights hockey team. The first year that they were banded together, the Vegas Golden Knights, that team was assembled as an expansion team. And if you know anything about hockey, when there's an expansion team, every team basically has to drop one or two players. They have to literally cut them from the roster and they have to donate these players to this team. So every team in the league had to trim the fat and shed their fucking who they felt were their weakest players to assemble the Vegas Golden Knights. Well, let me tell you something. That team ended up fucking crushing that year. They were monsters. And you know what? You know what the common thing was? They were all bonded by rejection. That whole team, every one of them was rejected and kicked off their fucking team. And so they were united behind that. They were united by the concept of fucking rejection. And it bonded them together and they fucking had insane fucking chemistry. And I think they almost won the cup. That team was fucking badass. And they were all just the guys who you literally would have all no names. And then all of a sudden, superstars emerged from that. Fucking lesson in there. Let me let me run through some of these questions. I'm looking forward to this because my audience is impressive as fuck. Whenever I do these types of things, I'm always impressed at the thoughtfulness and inquisitive nature of some of you motherfuckers. I mean, I definitely have curated a fucking baller audience. You motherfuckers are pretty fucking sharp compared to some of these other fucking accounts that I see. Let's go through here and see what we got. I haven't really read any of this shit. I'm gonna just try to go off the top of the dome and see what we can do. How to balance spending time with your woman without getting too comfortable because of her. So he's asking how to balance spending your time with your woman without getting too comfortable with her. Here you go, baby. This is literally the central thesis behind why they say that the fucking he who wears the crown, the crown is heavy. The crown is fucking heavy. That hoplite winged fucking bronze aged fucking helmet that you guys, all you motherfuckers revere, that's a heavy fucking crown. And I'll tell you why. Because living in a household with a woman as a winner, as a leader, as a fucking steward of a household, you're gonna have to have monkeys on your back. All right? And that's just a fucking fact. There's no way around it. There's gonna be monkeys on your back as a leader, as a winner. And there's gonna be many times in life when you are in a leadership position and you are captain of the fucking ship and you have a crew where you are gonna have to drag motherfucking corpses across the finish line. People who are gassed, people who are tapped out, people who are lacking stamina, motherfuckers who have Montezuma's revenge, motherfuckers who have dyspepsia, fucking health problems. Like as a leader, your job is to sometimes you got to literally throw everyone on your fucking back and get across the fucking line. And sometimes you got to do that over and over and over and over again. Now, I'll tell you right now, there is zero question that having a family, living with a woman, etc., is 100% going to slow you down. If you're a fucking sharpshooter, cowboy, and motherfucker who likes to fucking run around and run and gun, yes, it's going to slow you down, 100%. But it's an energy thing. To answer your question, it is an energy thing. If you are a motherfucker who has high energy, this is why high energy is just goated in general. Like no money is, there's no problem in the world that's a money problem. There's no problems. Everything is an energy problem. Because if you have high energy and you can generate money, energy from scratch out of thin fucking air like an alchemist, you don't have any problems. Everything's fixable. Everything is. Literally out of thin air. So your money problems are an energy problem. Your relationship problems are an energy problem. It's all about high energy. So this is the bottom fucking line. And so if you're a fanatic and you're one of these obsessed freaks like myself and you have a mission and you're hell bent on some sort of gratification or gratitude or legacy in this life, then you have an abundance of energy. And one of the things that is very controversial, but it's very true, and I want you to really pay attention to what I'm about to tell you because this is going to hit hard. When you are a strong male, and when I say strong, I'm not talking muscle. When you're strong, when you're well-rounded, when you don't really have too many weaknesses, motherfuckers, everybody, even the ones who love you the most, are gonna prey on your energy. They're gonna feed off your energy like a fucking parasite. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. But you have so much of it that you can afford to let a little bit of that cannibalism happen. And that's exactly what goes on in a household. There's a level of like vampiric cannibalism that goes on an energy level where if you're a dude who has a grand fucking mission and you need to accomplish something, but you also have a woman to take care of, you got kids to take care of, you got employees, you got mouths to feed. All of these people will be preying on your energy, but you don't give a fuck because you know you never lose. So you don't mind having the monkey on your back. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I told you the holy grail in 2024 for running a proper relationship and being in a long-term one that's going to work for a really long time. I'm telling you right now, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, it is your woman has to perceive on some level that you are crazier than she is. That is it. That is literally the fucking Rosetta Stone. If your woman perceives that you are crazier than her, because women have a lot of energy. Women can get ferocious, right? Women love long, drawn out arguments and fights. They can go for fucking hours. But if you're a motherfucker with the stamina to hang in there and you got the endurance and you can just let everything fucking pile up on you and you can still accomplish your tasks and manage it all, you're gonna literally go like there's no limits in the sky of what you can achieve. And so as a leader, you got to be comfortable giving your energy away. And this ties in perfectly to what I just told you guys about the losers, right? Like there's a lot of you that are talking about protect my time, protect my energy. Motherfucker, you are low energy if that's the way you live. If you have to be parsimonious with your energy and reserve and conserve, you're a low energy motherfucker. And that's a huge problem. And that's the root of your problem. There's no amount of avoidance, seeing a bum on the street and walking across the street. There's no amount of avoidance of negative energy that's going to solve the root of that problem. You have an energy problem. And if you're a high energy motherfucker who's going all the fucking time, you don't give a fuck about giving away your energy because you're always going to get it back. Do you understand the metaphor? And that's the same with money. The reason why a high energy motherfucker like Elon Musk, me, anybody, anybody who's high energy can take these megalithic fucking mammoth risks and be okay with the outcome is because you got the energy to fall back on. It's never about the money to fall back on. It's not even about the confidence to fall back on. The energy is the confidence. Do you understand? The energy is the Ding an sich, the thing in itself. It's the German philosopher. The Ding an sich, the energy in itself is the thing in itself. And that's all you should be focused on. And the way to get that Promethean godlike energy is to not obey the conscious mind. Do you understand? Someone asked me, I'm gonna pull up this fucking comment right now. I'm gonna pull this up for you because you gotta listen to this. Here's one of the questions in the comment section. He goes, when you made all the money that you did, why did you keep going after you beat the game and continue to take risks? He's making a mention of the fact that I told you guys I burned 17 million in like 2017. He's asking me, if you had all that money and you beat the game of capitalism, why didn't you quit? Let me tell you something. If I was conscious of why I was gunning for that kind of money, I would have never made that money in the first place. Chew on that one for a second. If I was consciously aware of why I was gunning for 20, 30, 40, 50 million, I never would have come close to that number in the first place. It's because I was unconscious that I achieved it. Do you understand? Like, good luck trying to consciously be a fucking professional baseball player. Good luck with that. There's nobody in the MLB right now who consciously chose that path. They had no choice. They had to become it. Like, it's really that fucking real. Like, if you have to consciously walk yourself into situations and talk yourself up to get stuff done or to become someone or something, you're not going to go very far. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, the whole leaning into your nature thing is actually a good metaphor of that death rebirth parable that I gave you, because it really is about stripping away. Leaning into your nature is about letting the reptilian brain run the show, and you just step out of your own way. I will venture to tell you that the biggest winners in life don't really do that much different shit than every other ordinary person. They just stay out of their own way less than everybody else. Like the conscious, hyper normie, thoughtful Apollonian types, they're just always standing in their own fucking way, preventing themselves. Like they have the override button. They're just gonna consciously override their animal, bestial impulses all the fucking time through reason and rationale, that sort of Apollonian method. And they're gonna just constantly minimize entropy. You're never gonna maximize entropy. You're never gonna throw the deck of cards in the air and see what lands. It's never gonna happen for you in that context. How has high stakes living, gambling, etc., cultivated the deepest parts of your character to the surface, the ones that most people don't even entertain? Well, I just answered that. I mean, the high stakes living, look, all my bets are hedged in life. Do you understand? Like, I can fire indiscriminately and recklessly because all my bets are hedged, because my hedge is my energy. I have an endless well of energy. I'm doing what I was cosmically designed to do, which is take risk. It's just in my fucking blood. I don't have to consciously do a goddamn thing. I wake up every day and I'm on the fucking prowl. I have been forever. It's always been like this. Like I literally took my hands off the wheel so long ago. And this is sort of like some Eastern mystic offshoot bramble that I'm talking about. It's like sort of an olive branch. And I understand that. But it's so fucking true. It's like you gotta ride the winds of life. Sometimes you gotta work with the wind. You know what I mean? When the wind ain't blowing, sometimes you're doing nothing. One of the most interesting things about hunting in general is that when you think about a hunter, you think about an aggressor, right? You think about a fucking ferocious predator that's feral. But one of the most interesting facets of hunting in general is the patience aspect of it. The most important part of a hunt is the patience. I've seen this live. I've seen fucking red-tailed hawks chilling up in the branch doing nothing, sitting on their hands doing nothing, metaphorically, scanning the fucking environment. They look bored to tears because they're fucking dopamine junkies. All predators are. And they're just watching and they're not moving a muscle. And then boom, they see the opportunity and they go full fucking ballistic, fast twitch muscle fiber strike. And that is the prototypical human way to live, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Who makes the most bags in crypto? Some motherfuckers who just sit and wait and do nothing, right? And then boom, sell at the top or close to it. Like hunting is a very patience based. Very, extremely. It's arguably more important than the offensive attack itself. It's just finding the correct opportunity. And it's funny that animals do that. Animals will only go for low leverage opportunity if they're dying and their back's against the wall and it's like the fucking, it's their clarion call. Then they'll fucking go for a stupid fucking gamble or try to take down an animal that's risky if they're literally starving to death. But predators are pretty high leverage animals and they only attack in situations where it makes perfect sense to do so. And I believe humans are no different. And so a lot of the success in life is just about literally stepping out of your own fucking way. Take your hands off the wheel sometimes, you get the best news of your life. You know what I'm saying? You can go get a tarot card reading right now. You can get the broken heart lovers cards. You can fucking get the fucking black Mustang. Whatever the fuck the symbolism is. You can go to the doctor and he can tell you you need to come back in for scans. But I guarantee you if you take your hand off the wheel for a second and just surf the tides of life, you'll get the best news you've ever fucking heard. That's how it works. Everyone's trying to fucking intervene and exert too much fucking control and power over everything. And that's sort of the thing that I was trying to examine about the losing streak. Because I had a tweet about losing streaks this week because I find them to be intriguing and they're very under discussed. Losing streaks, like the science and technology and telemetry of a losing streak, is a very under discussed topic in society because everything has been hyper normified. And most people are not lunatic enough to even go deep enough into a process to even have an unbelievable, statistically improbable losing streak. Like most people, if they try something and they lose 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 times is the threshold, your average person is just gonna be like, this shit ain't for me, and turn around and walk the other way. But some of us, the more enthusiastic, the more risk inclined, will literally battering ram that same process hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times and absorb a multiple hundred fucking losing streak before we get a win. And I've done this, by the way. I ran one of the greatest fucking social experiments ever because I wanted to understand the science behind a losing streak. Like, how is this possible? Because the math doesn't check out. There's something supernatural going on here. Some of you will recall one of my older spaces. I I had a 6-month losing streak where I did not have one winning day. And I just kept firing. And I just kept firing. And I just kept firing. And I was firing into a wall, beating my head against the wall every day. And to this day, I have no idea how I came out of the other side of this losing streak because I've never been so imbued with wrath and fury during this particular period of my life. It was unbelievable that nothing I did. So basically, the streak was going on for so long that I was like, you know what? Fuck it. System ain't working. My picks ain't working. My mental game's not there. I'm going to start doing fucking wacky shit to try to make these calls. Like, let's fucking hire a fucking capuchin and have that motherfucker start throwing darts at the picks. Let's fucking call up a random dude I haven't talked to in 6 years, ask him who he likes, whoever he says, let's fucking do it. Let's fucking blindfold me, turn myself around 3 times, and I'll just fucking keno the picks. I'll just randomly pick picks on the fucking board blindfolded. I tried every fucking trick in the book, offloading it, having someone else make the calls. Guess what? The losing streak got worse. It got worse. And I'm telling you the reason is that when you exert too much control over anything, because even offloading it to someone else and having them make the calls, I'm trying to kind of biohack it in a way, right? I'm trying to hack reality. I'm offloading, I'm shouldering it to somebody else, but I'm still exerting control. And I just see over and over again in my life the biggest wisdom that I've accrued is that people who are always trying to exert way too much control over situations get fucking smoked the hardest. Smoked. Smoked. I mean, you see this in professional sports. There's a phenomenon in professional sports called the yips, where it's called the yips. A baseball player, a pitcher, will literally be on the mound and he'll have sound mechanics, sound biomechanics for an entire season. And then maybe playoffs will come around. And something happens to where he becomes consciously aware of what he's doing. He becomes consciously aware of the movement for whatever reason. And now the motherfucker can't hit the strike zone. It'll be the best pitcher in the world. They all go through the yips, every single one of them. And it's always the conscious awareness of the movement, throws them off cadence, throws them off rhythm. And you get into a massively vicious cycle where these guys are in their head now. They're up on the mound. They're like, fuck, I got to kick my foot back here. I got to fucking extend my shoulder here. I got to make sure my labrum's in this position. Ball and socket joint. Or my scapula fucking protracted. Shit like that. And now you're analyzing yourself. Now you're breaking yourself down. Now you're cutting yourself to pieces. Guess what? That losing streak doesn't go away until complete dissolution of cognitive awareness is complete. Until you shake it out long enough and you just stop giving a fuck, then the yips go away. But it's insane because you're just in a vicious spiral. The more this mechanic doesn't work, the more you're trying to get it back. The more you try to get it back, the less it works. Now you're analyzing your fucking feet, the way they're positioned. Boom, everything's breaking down. You're making the situation 100 fucking times worse. The mind, the conscious mind, is the most uncooperative son of a bitch in the universe. Prove me wrong. Good luck trying to fucking tame your mind all day. Tell yourself what to do, fucking. Your mind is extremely fucking disobedient. And that's why I'm saying the apex fucking philosophy. And this shit is zen as fuck. But you ain't gonna read it in a book. It's exclusive to these fucking spaces. Take your hands off the fucking wheel and see what happens. Let the reptile navigate. Let the reptile be the cartographer. You know what I'm saying? Let the fucking reptile stencil the map together for you. You'll know what you're naturally inclined to do. You'll understand what your natural impulses are pretty quickly. Rationalization and neocortex living are for retrospect and storytelling. Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? What I'm doing right now. Getting up and telling a story, remembrance, sentimentalism, shit like that, harking back. That's when the neocortex is valid. But during a process, during a streak, during a run, during a mission, your motherfucking enemy. Been tearing my head apart looking for the explanation for the exception to the lateral achievement principle. What does it boil down to, achieving something without it being lateral indirect? There is no exception to the lateral achievement principle. You cannot target a goal directly in life. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're taking long distance shots, which every goal is going to be long distance. You have to factor in the wind, motherfucker. You got to work with it. And a lot of times it involves just putting up enough volume of shots and letting the wind carry the bullet into the fucking bullseye. A lot of you motherfuckers are trying to sharpshoot way too much. You're going after things directly. The supercar, the house, the fucking French Riviera pad, whatever the fuck your goal is. That ain't the way. It ain't the way. You put up a shot and you got to let the other forces of life kind of coast and guide your shots into the target. It's a fucking volley, man. It's a volley. I mean, I've put up some of the most ridiculous shots, honest to God, likely in human history. I really don't know anyone who's really gambled at my level relatively to just having no real safety net. Like for a guy who's literally tightrope walking Niagara Falls with no harness, I really don't know anyone who's done it at the level. I don't. I think I've carved out a pretty fucking unique path. And I can tell you that I am wholeheartedly willing to ride a roller coaster to the end of any process. I don't want to get off. I'm not getting off a roller coaster too early. That's been like a rule of thumb of mine for forever. I will go through as much pain as humanly possible and as much suffering as humanly possible to ride it out until the end. And it doesn't matter what it is, a relationship, a friendship, a pact. I mean, when you have this mentality, you're gonna see a lot of casualties and you're gonna see a lot of friendly fire because you're gonna see that a lot of people will tap out along the way. And rightfully so. Most people just don't have the freakery to see a process through to this level that I'm discussing. But I'm one of those guys, and I will see a process through to the end. Whether I got nobody left, whether I got no one rocking with me, it doesn't matter. I still got to get to the end. As a father, how do you break the trap of successful parents having loser kids, which you've talked about and is 100% true? Yeah, I mean, it was the concept that I discussed about how it's funny how loser fathers typically have the, not from a middle perspective, but they have the greatest dice cast to create a super fucking compensatory human being, right? Because we've talked about how pain and trauma do create these sort of super overcompensations in the biological organism. And, there's attributes that sort of spurn from hurt and pain, especially as a youngster. And so a lot of high achievers, I venture to say most of them actually in any domain, usually had very rocky upbringing or rocky relationships with their parents. And very successful fathers typically have loser children because there is this biological imperative where a child naturally wants to live in the shadow. There's like a built-in governorship in the male hardware that almost doesn't want you to hit the gas pedal and pass your father. It's almost like literally baked into the matrix, baked into the game. And so the only people who are given the grace or basically get the governorship uninstalled to be able to fucking zoom past their dad is the child who's been exiled from the father. Because the exile is sort of that deprogramming process where you're not talking to your father for a long period of time. You figure out your own identity. You fucking let the reptile brain kick in. Like there's a reason why even Knights of the Round Table, Merlin, all these fucking ancient fucking tall tale stories, Paul Bunyan, all of these tales have elements of rites of passage where a young man goes out into the wild, verdant forest and fights for himself and comes back with whatever trophies he's killed in the forest, and then comes back and reintroduces himself to his father. There's a reason why that rite of passage is real. It's literally every fucking youngster has to go through a very, very, I would say a couple year period of time where you really don't have a deep connection with your parents. And I think that's tantamount and paramount to that self-discovery process. And then once you know who you are and you know your path, then of course you go back and now you're a stronger unit. Now you can have a much better relationship with your family without the ultimatums and without the programming that's been held over your head your whole fucking life. Do some people just need to fully scorch every last dopamine receptor before they can flow and get out of their head? Why do some people need to move mountains as a cope just to laterally achieve some goal? And is it a blessing or a curse or both? A lot of lateral achievement questions. So he's asking why some people need to fully fucking torch their dopamine in order to be motivated and are constantly fucking chasing and seeking. And the thing is I've been telling you guys forever, the only way to live life as a man to get the peak experience is to get the fuck out of your head. That's it. It's literally, that's why I told you masculinity is actually a dumb energy because you're just completely out of your head. And the only way to achieve that is to fucking fry your dopamine receptors. Chasing shiny objects, shit like that. I once said that shiny object syndrome is the goated apex philosophy, and I stand by that 100%. I think men should be chasing whatever fucking shiny industries are cropping up, cutting edge shit all the fucking time like a cat chasing a laser. I think that is 100% in alignment with the male instinct. 100%. Shiny object syndrome. Fuck, man. That's a clear and classic way to win. Chase what's fucking shiny. Thoughts on health insurance? Dude, I've never had health insurance my entire life. Ever. I I I do think there is some fucking strange. It's not even strange. It makes perfect fucking sense. People who have health insurance are gonna find 100 ways to use it. I'll tell you that right now. If you're paying a fucking premium and you have health insurance, you're gonna find a way to get your money's worth. You're gonna find a way to get your ass in that fucking doctor's office. But it's funny how when you don't have health insurance, it's not even in the back of your head. I mean, I haven't had to go to the doctor for like 20 years. Like I've only gone to a doctor electively. I've never had any, and I'm Olympic lifting. I do dangerous lifts with my body. I subject my body to insane and ferocious trauma regularly, and I've just never had to go see a doctor. I mean, kind of suspicious. The guy who doesn't have health insurance never gets sick and never has fucking health issues. Most profound rebirth moment in your life that changed the way you live going forward. I don't actually believe these things are real. I hear stories on Twitter all the time of people that talk about watershed moments in their life and they sort of romanticize it like this Melvillian sort of romance where they're like, such and such happened and I was sitting on a fucking park bench in fucking torrential downpour in downtown Denver and I was sitting on the bench smoking my last cig and then it dawned on me. And from that moment forward, I decided that I was never gonna fucking do XYZ ever again. Bullshit. That is not how life works on any fucking level, not even a cellular level. I don't believe in watershed moments. I don't believe that people just wake up one day and just randomly decide to never do something again. If you do make a radical change in your life, it has been on your mind and the course has been set for you long ago, my friend. And you are now just experiencing the levitation of destiny. Watershed moments aren't real. Epiphanies are real, but that's for entertainment purposes only. Because by the time you get an epiphany, that's the fucking paradox of an epiphany, by the way. You only get an epiphany and a revelation when it's least useful to you. It'll be like 5 years down the road, you'll just fucking crack the code on something that was fucking harassing your psyche for like 5 years, and you'll be like, now I get it. When it's totally fucking useless. When you're searching and besieging a fucking epiphany or revelation, it evades the fuck out of you. You see how everything I say is tying into this take your hands off the fucking wheel? It's like you search, you search, you search, you gun, you gun, you gun. It kind of eludes you. You still got to put up shots, but you kind of got to balance it. You got to walk away from the outcome. Can man change or is self help a scam? Self help is 100% a scam in the sense that men absolutely do not change whatsoever. I'm actually really going to the drawing board here and I'm almost wondering if men even gain experience. Because I'll tell you something. The biggest domains in life, the biggest ones, money, women, family, all that shit, the 50,000th attempt is just as fucking daunting and grueling as the ones prior to. Like I'm definitely numb to the outcome, but losing $1 million is always going to feel like losing $1 million. Doesn't matter what it's worth. Like it's always gonna the pain is the same. 100 fucking percent. The only thing that truly changes in a man is his perspective. You can only change the way you see things and look at things, but you will never change yourself. It's all bullshit. It's why the recidivism rate in Alcoholics Anonymous is insane. It's why trying to fight addiction through self-help groups is insane. It's never going to happen. You cannot outrun your nature. You can't do it. You can win the battle year after year after year. You will lose the war, though. You will lose the war. Now, There's obviously ways to arrest the development, and there's a lot of ways and like strategies you can put in place to prevent yourself from self-destructing too much. But if you have like an addictive personality or you have some kind of addiction, that's with you for life. That's 100% never going away. Once you become addicted to anything, it's pretty much a wrap. Unless you want to completely get a lobotomy and dole your edge down and become the hypernormie path. That's the only way it's going to work. And even then, I still think nature bats last. You can build a house over a fucking oak stump, but eventually that shit's gonna burst through the fucking floorboards. And your nature's no different. It's 100% gonna rear its ugly head at some point and get you. And get you. So the point of the matter is when it comes to these types of things or personality traits or people always talk about wanting to change themselves, you don't really want to change yourself. You want to change the way you see and frame situations. That's the only thing that's valuable. The only valuable thing in life for change is literally changing the way you look at it. And that allows you to soldier on. You know what I mean? And that's like, honestly, that's what wisdom is. Wisdom is just a gigantic fucking reservoir. It's an archive in your head where when you go through a situation that resembles something that you've been through that's closely similar, you can quickly flip through the Rolodex and you can panel through and thumb through these images in your head and you'll land on the correct response to it almost instantaneously. That's it. You're just finding basically a mental structure that you can cleave onto. It's like some sort of mental scaffolding to just basically help you kind of just move through it. But nothing changed, just the way you look at it does. And that's everything, by the way, because when you change the way you look at things, everything does change. What do you think of war? I think war in the modern terms is extremely fucking homosexual for sure. Definitely ain't really any wars worth fighting for from a fucking government conscript perspective. Um, that's all I'll say on that. How does the alcoholic or the fat guy know if their edge is the alcohol or food in itself, or if they need to remove it and the true edge is the addictive personality? All right, this is a great fucking question. So, the fanaticism about anything is where people get their energy from. In other words, the PD camp. Okay. Let's fucking take them as a prime example. The PD camp is under the impression that this mystical, magical, whimsical diet that they've discovered is what's giving them all this fucking energy and fucking keeping their body temp high and giving them fucking vitality. Not the case. It's the obsession over the PD shit that is way more powerful than whatever fucking protocol you're doing. It's like this with everything. Your diet, it doesn't matter really what the fuck it is. If you're obsessed with meticulously crafting it, like being a control freak over your diet, having a militant viewpoint towards your diet, curating a perfect fucking diet, the benefit ain't, you get more benefit from just being a control freak and obsessed with your diet than you do from the nutrition itself. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Like, this mechanism you see everywhere. The no-fap guys claim that by not jacking off, they're getting fucking boundless wells of energy. And fucking women are looking at them different. And fucking when they walk by, the birds are fucking crooning at them. Donkeys are fucking looking at them and shit. The animal kingdom is fucking walking up to them like they're fucking Saint Francis. I believe them. I do believe there is an awakening when they engage in nofap. But I'm telling you, the reason why it's working is because they've turned themselves insane, obsessing over something so fucking stupid. It's the obsession over it. Do you understand? It's the pathology. It's the fact that this person is so obsessed with nofapping that it's turning them into almost like a mad genius in a way. And that energy of obsessing over something and thinking about it all the time creates a spiral of energy. It's the obsession. It's never the thing that you're doing. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what fucking diet you're on. If a marketing campaign is strong enough to get you to think that fucking Krispy Kreme is fucking healthy for you, and you are obsessed and you're feeling amazing, and every time you eat a fucking donut, you legitimately feel like you can fucking run a marathon, the placebo of the obsession is going to take you way further than the protocol itself. And that's why the PD thing works so well, because these people are fucking fanatical about their protocols. So the obsession itself is what's capturing people's attention. It's what makes them persuasive. It's what makes people want to fucking be a part of the community. Do you understand that? Because Ray Pete himself, in my eyes, was not that impressive of a guy. But his community that's fucking spawned on Twitter, the guys that are carrying the banner of Ray Pete are impressive to me because of the fucking dedication. These motherfuckers are in the lab cooking up all sorts of experiments and shit. I'm all about that. But I'm under no delusion that fucking drinking raw milk, eating ice cream, and eating fucking peeled peaches is magically gonna fucking make you a multimillionaire, get you the fucking wife of your dreams, and fucking put you on the map at a fucking Fortune 500 company. I'm under no fucking delusion. But the obsession will. And that's the lesson in there, is the obsession over anything. It doesn't matter how trivial, how fucking stupid it is. It could be video games, anything. The obsession over anything ignites a spark in people and gives you a boundless well of energy. So you have to be cautious fucking giving fucking so much credence to all these fucking protocols. There's a new motherfucking protocol every fucking week on Twitter. I can't even keep up. There's a new fucking health fad, a new molecule that's unhealthy. Now fucking raw milk's unhealthy. Now fucking eggs are unhealthy. Now it's nonstop. So all of these people who are winning and getting these rewarding biofeedback loops from being fucking fanatics and psychos over these things, it's because they're psychos that they're winning. You feel me? What's your take on female nature is too complicated? What's your take on female nature is too complicated? Is it actually the opposite between genders? Female nature is the most logical force in the universe by far. Once you understand the way women work, everything they fucking do makes sense. I don't, there's zero confusion on my end as to why women do what they do. It's extremely linear and logical. Men, as I've always told you, are the emotional, illogical sex. A man won't even know who a woman is, won't even fucking know her name, but he will donate a kidney and sell his family down the river to go on a date with her. A woman, a woman don't care if you're dead or alive if she doesn't love you. They have the ability to go stone cold on your ass. Fucking sit here and tell me women are the emotional sex. One of the most fundamental issues in human experience is the incredible fallibility and weakness of our memory. So my question is, how do you master memory? How do you make it more efficient to recall the most salient lesson or plan for each moment based on past experience? Let me tell you something very novel and interesting about memory that most of you probably do not know. The world itself is a gigantic hard drive. It's literally like a stick of RAM. And the best way I can articulate this to you is it's been basically, I have observed that there is definitely a finite storage capacity within your own brain to recall shit. That's definitely true. But the human body is so intelligent and so fucking divine that basically it uses the world as an external memory storage device. In other words, you will literally embed a memory into the external world. And if you go back to a certain location, or you go back and smell a certain scent, or there's a certain musical note in the air, you hear a song, there's memory storage embedded in those external components that can only be relived and recalled when you walk back in that location, or smell that flower, or hear that musical note. And then the memory comes back. So basically, there's spillover. Your memory will definitely spill over things that it's not supposed to contain, and it'll store it into the actual landscape and geographical environment itself. You guys know what I mean. Like, you'll literally go back to a location or an exact spot that you used to hang out, and all of a sudden you'll be flooded with fucking memories. It'll be triggered. It's because memories do get embedded into the external hard drive. 1000%. That was a good question. If nature is perfect, the current world functions at around 80-90% hyper normie rate. Does that mean most men are destined to be a normie? Of course. Of course it does. But it's not a bad thing though. I mean, I do look at the normie as a pretty fucking solid path in the modern world. Like as much as I fucking crucify the middle, I do think the middle is really the fucking pillar for sure. Um, and a lot of these guys are actually fucking sleeper cells. And I'll tell you this, the biggest crop of talent in the modern world, 100% is the fucking normies. It's the normies. The normies is where I want to pick talent from that fucking pool, the middle. If I have to fucking train someone or fucking get a fucking valiant fighter beside me in battle or train someone in my business or take someone on a fucking heroic mission, I 100% want to pick someone from the fucking middle because it ain't about talent. If your leadership is proper, like I told you guys earlier, you can groom anybody from the middle to be a fucking killer. That's why I said I don't really think that talent is necessary. Talent is extremely overrated for sure. It's not the people that are seated in the throne that are the most talented. I hope you guys truly do understand that. I mean, talent is a curse in many ways. People that are born with a lot of talent usually fucking piss it away. Some kind of regression to the mean, for sure. It's the guys that have been slighted or been fucking bequeathed horrific characteristics that usually have the negative propulsion to take themselves off the ground and get into these high positions. It's the ones who have the natural talent. They usually are the ones who kind of hover and sail in the middle because they just don't have to work hard. It's kind of like the halo effect. Doors are always going to be revolving for them. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see like really handsome dudes usually with fucking mids. Very common. Very common. Because they don't have to really put in the work. They never had to, they were never ugly, they were never uncharismatic. They didn't have to learn game. It just was kind of built in for them. So when they don't have to learn game, they're hard capped as to the kind of caliber of women they can be with. How does a man get over the fear of cold approaching? I think cold approaching is not even the fucking correct method. I think that as a man, the best thing you can do for dating in general is to put yourself in a position where women are coming to you. That is the apex for sure. And the cold approach forcing shit, I just don't like it, man. It's fucking it's the shotgun approach. It's so low leverage. You know what I mean? I'm more of a marksman. I'm a sniper. I like to go deeper, not wider. I drill deep into one thing. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of guys really make a mistake of doing that grape shot of just fucking spray, 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 spray. It just comes off as fucking forced, man. Super fucking low leverage. Like you gotta get fucking home turf established. You gotta learn some fucking tricks to the game, man, first. Like the world that you guys perceive and see on a daily basis, you have no idea how fucking fake it all fucking is, man. It's so fucking fake. Every time I walked into a restaurant, for it could be first time. I haven't made reservations in fucking 15 years. I just refuse to do it. I will walk into the most crowded fucking spot anytime I damn well please. And when I walk up to the hostess stand and they tell me that they're fully committed, I will give them the Dikembe Mutombo finger wave. No, I will go walk past them and I will go directly to whoever has the motherfucking power in the establishment. And I guarantee you within 5 minutes, I'll have a fucking seat. Everything is fucking fake. The gatekeepers, it's all bogus. Like the power structures that really work, like the inner workings of it, the grandfather clock, you guys don't even understand how easily you motherfuckers surrender and take no for an answer. I just did it the other day. It's fucking hilarious. Crowded fucking Saturday night. Was meeting someone for a business dinner. Boom. waltzed in, told me they're fully committed. I said, nah, nah, no chance. Because I always know that's bullshit. That's some fucking teleprompt script that they're told to tell you to back you down. There's always a way. There's always a fucking table open. Velcro a fucking chair to the fucking roof if you have to. There's always a fucking table open. So I just walked right past, walked up to the manager, very fucking courteous, looked them dead in the eyes, hand on the shoulder, and just said, brother, I'm fucking starving. We have to get a seat. Oh, no problem, sir. Boom. Walks back to the hostess who I just told no, 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 no chance. And she was forced and commanded by the motherfucker to seat me at the table. And it was fucking hilarious because she just told me no 5 minutes ago they had no seating. But 5 minutes later, I'm getting sat. And so that's my whole fucking point is then the no, like when you cold approach anything, it's such a fucking superficial fucking experience. Because if you had more time, if you were more established, if you had more ammo, it wouldn't be a no. So like I don't like those fucking quick, stupid fucking interactions. Super fucking lame. Yo.
Bro, my question to you would be that I recently realized the sheer power in learning how to weightlift. What was your experience like when you first started off and realized the explosiveness and how it translated over to other, areas of your life?
Yeah, man. I mean, intuitively, I was always just drawn to strength sports. I mean, I always had some kind of freakish spider monkey strength to begin with. So it was always kind of in my wheelhouse. I always had gorilla grip. Like my grip strength was always naturally pretty fucking insane. I was always pretty sinewy, and I kind of knew how to throw how to use my weight. And so yeah, man, when I stepped in the gym, the eccentric stuff was fascinating to me because it just made a lot of sense. It just made a lot of sense to wipe out the eccentric and just focus on the concentric aspects of the lift. But yeah, man, that explosive power. I mean, it was complete accident, but I do think that I adorned myself in sort of that athlete archetype from an early age. And
Hmm.
people are tripping if they don't think there's power in that
Yeah,
in itself. Because I mean, I've said this before. You want to talk about we talk about how opportunities kind of are in a whirlpool and they kind of eddy in these very small circles of elite people. Well, one of the only broke archetypes that's widely accepted among elite circles is athletes.
true, true.
And so that just kind of was a natural thing for me. I would get invited everywhere. I mean, I looked like a freak, to be quite honest with you, in my 20s. I put in two a days, man. I had so much fucking frenetic energy.
Hmm.
I didn't really have a mission. I didn't have much to do. And so to exert myself and to exhaust myself so I didn't fucking implode, I would just go to the gym twice a day and I was a fucking fanatic, man. I mean, I was in there constantly, vicious mentality when I was in the gym.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and I think
weightlifting's I think the most underrated sport in the world, man, because
true.
it's the truest expression of athleticism. You can't fucking clean and jerk heavy weight, and you definitely cannot snatch unless you're a fucking athlete. It's just that simple because speed solves all problems in weightlifting,
Hmm.
and it just so happens to be that's true for life as well. But yeah, man, speed in the weight room. If you don't lift fast, that weight's gonna go nowhere. And as we know from every fucking sport, the fastest athlete is always the best athlete.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking that, you need to play hard in order to work hard. So when you're obsessed with weightlifting, what happens is when you have fun weightlifting first thing in the morning, you hit the gym and you weightlift and you're full of vitality, then you can go out and just, expend. When you're obsessed, that transfers over to other areas of your life, your path, your posture. One thing that I've realized is that in weightlifting you have to put your pressure on the midfoot, so lower and lower back foot, and that has been so powerful because it triggers your mind, and you think robust thoughts when you are in that posture, when your traps, when your shoulders are back. So I wanna know, like, what have you seen any, like, of course you did, like, benefits outside the gym, but I guess, yeah, that was my question.
I've always said that, man. I've always said there's a hidden concept here that posture 100% has cognitive associations to it. And a lot of people don't understand this, but what I'm saying is when you have kinked up tissue and junked up tissue in your body,
Hmm.
100% that locks certain parts of your brain that are able to think properly. And when you're supple and your mobility is flawless, as mine has been for fucking a very long time, because mobility was one of the first things that I worked on, opening my pelvic joints, making sure that my shoulder extension, shoulder flexion was flawless. I put a ton of work into just those patterns before I ever fucking started lifting heavy. And yeah, bro, of course, from standing up fucking straight and just having
True.
your rhomboids and your fucking scapula all set correctly, your pelvic
Yeah,
floor
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a neutral position. It 100% unlocks parts of the brain. I mean, movement and thinking are not unconnected elements. They are 100% connected. And so, whenever I see these motherfuckers that have kyphosis or even lower doses in their lower spine, or motherfuckers that are walking around hunched with horrible fucking posture, people that can't even reach their shoulders over their head, I understand that there's like a mental crippling that's associated with that.
Yeah, and when you're in a correct posture, you take way more space than you usually do. Like, people turn their heads when you're walking with your shoulders rolled back, and you're putting the right pressure on your foot. You take way more space.
100%, man. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I've been relatively injury free. I mean, weightlifting historically is actually one of the safest sports, just because when you're throwing that kind of weight over your fucking head, you don't have time to doubt yourself, and you don't have time to worry about anything. You know what I'm saying? You got to whip that weight very, very hard. Very similar to as if you were trying to pry open the jaws of an alligator. That's how hard you have to pull on the bar to get some of these weights over your head. And so, you only have a fraction of a second. And there's a lot of life lesson in that. I mean, when you only have a fraction of a second to execute, your body tends to give itself to you. You know what I'm saying? It tends to be a very strong, well-connected chain, and there's no leaks in there. But when you're doing slow movements, that's when everybody gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's when
Yeah,
life will
true,
that's what
true.
life will hurt you in
Thanks,
general. I
thanks for
mean,
the talk, man. I appreciate it.
yep. Magnus, I can't hear a word. I'm gonna put you in the back pocket for now, but
Hey,
yo,
what's
what's
up?
up,
Can you
man?
hear me?
Yep.
All right, awesome. I'm very glad that I got brought up. So, pretty much, my question is really just about the hero's journey and everything. So, pretty much, I just graduated from college and I was playing D1 football, but that wasn't really fulfilling me. So, now I'm about to go to Europe. And I know you've touched before on like staying in your hometown and establishing home turf, but what's your take on traveling and just going that route?
Yeah, I know a bunch of guys doing it right now. I mean, I get DM updates from dudes that are traveling all over the world and shit, kind of hoofing it, roughing it, not much money, trying to make things click. I mean, I'm a fan for sure. It's like I said the other day. I think I had a tweet. I said, in order to become, you got to kind of become a nobody to become a somebody. Your hometown, you can consider that a failed
I
start.
think your mic cut off. Brute.
Can you hear me?
Nah,
Can you
I
hear
can
him?
hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Brute, your mic cut off.
My golden?
Nah, that you're good.
Yeah, man. So what I was
Can
saying
you
is,
can you hear Brute?
brother, do not interrupt this show, or I will clap you. What I was saying, man, is your hometown is a failed start in many, many ways. And so, in order to kind of develop a lot of the character traits and character patterns, you got to become a nobody and start from nothing and work your way back up. And along the way, you know what I'm saying. You kind of
Hmm.
in the gust of wind that you leave behind, you're gonna pick up a lot of people on your crusade. And it's a natural kind of thing, man. People are just gonna come on the back of the caboose and ride the train. Some people are going to get off at certain stops, but by the end of it, you're going to know who's rocking with you, from day one. And I think that's kind of the goal. It's like I never had to force friendships. I never had to force anything in my life, man. It's
Hmm.
whoever came on the voyage from day one, who's ever's left at the end, last man standing. I mean, those are the guys that I'll fucking shed blood for.
Yeah, that's a great point. And like kind of touching back on what you were talking about earlier with the athlete archetype, I found that just like walking around regularly in my life, like constantly getting looked at, constantly people just like asking you like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? So like that athlete archetype definitely goes a long way. And also,
It's insane, man. Everywhere I fucking go, happens to me probably 10 times a week. Someone will come up to me and ask me if I'm a fucking professional soccer player or an MMA fighter or
yeah,
something in
yeah,
that fucking vein, man. I'm just like, it's happened so fucking frequently. It's unbelievable.
exactly. And then if I may, one more question is also because eventually I'm about to go on like my hero's journey and travel everywhere, but I do want to come back home in like 6 months or so, like whenever the time is right. And I was actually I live in Arizona, so I was about to go to Scottsdale, and like I just want to know how do you go about locking down a place and like getting that city on lock so that you actually have like pedigree and whatnot? Because I know you've
This is
talked
a
about
great
like
question.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a common question. So, and this is kind of a natural thing for me. This is how I've always done it, and this was an intuitive thing. And as I saw how effective it was, I sort of was able to kind of articulate it. What happened for me is anywhere I would go, I would always have an unusual request, like very unusual, very very off ticket, something that ordinary people wouldn't come in and ask. Like I'll ask for special treatment, special ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I noticed is that people that are lethargic in those settings, because in a typical fucking restaurant, man, there's not much commotion. You pretty much can predict how it's going to be. There's going to be a couple unruly customers here and there. There's going to
Mm-hmm.
be some fucking fits. There's going to be some regulars, etc. But when I go somewhere, I always have special fucking requests, special types of orders and shit. And people love, love, love to do fucking favors, man. It's not human nature to say no, and a lot of people are afraid to ask. So like I just always ask for special accommodations, and I don't do it in a prick way, but
Mm-hmm.
I also compensate for that. So it didn't matter how broke I was or how struggling, I was always a good fucking tipper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's important to understand there's two variants of this. There's rich motherfuckers who tip in a needy way that come off like fucking dorks because they're tipping because they clearly want something in return. I was literally handing out $100 bills like they were breath mints in my fucking 20s. Like someone asked me for a fucking Mentos. I would just hand them $100 bill, and then boom, there's your fucking army. Dude, I've always said this. Someone asked me years ago in an AMA, they said, "How do you get out of the rat race?" And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "You treat the people underneath you like royalty, and you treat the people above you like dirt." And what I
Interesting.
meant by that was all these servicemen, the valet guys, the bus boys, the fucking chefs and shit, the people that the service workers, brother, if you show them any kind of love in any kind of genuine way, these motherfuckers will do anything for you. Anything for you. I mean, that's how I navigated COVID. Like COVID never shut down for me, and I was in LA. I was in the hardest hit metropolis in arguably the world with the COVID lockdowns. But I just knew every
Mm-hmm.
butcher. I knew every fucking chef at all the hot spots. Brother, they were sneaking me into the back door every night and cooking me fucking ribeyes and steaks and doing whatever the fuck I wanted every day of the week because of the way I took care of them. And it's a
Gosh, and you would
and
still,
it's a tiny
and if I'm
you're talking about a tiny investment for that kind of army, bro. Like, I'm probably tipping those guys total probably 12, $15,000 a year. But now you
mm-hmm.
basically got a private militia behind you. I'm talking like I could get a valet guy's number, and if I need that motherfucker to fly to Panama to get me a fucking LLC corporation, he'll do it. That type of shit. So I'm
Jeez.
taking shit outside the workforce. Like I'm fucking creating jobs. I'm creating little fucking odd deals here and there. I'm getting people active outside of the fucking workplace.
Got you. Okay. So you pretty much just got to bring adventure into their lives, is what it sounds like.
100%. I mean, they see you're a strapping young guy. You got a lot of fucking energy, and they want to be a part of it. And also, those people are just invisible, man. Who the fuck's out here giving love to busboys and fucking calling the chef out and shaking his hand and telling him he did a great job? Who's doing that type of shit? Nobody. Because everyone thinks you get the instant status from knowing the owner. It's the opposite, my friend. You get all the status from walking into a place. You just had fucking 10 bus boys, 3 hosts, fucking assistant managers greeting you before you even walked up to the fucking podium. What kind of
Mm,
ambiance do you think that creates to the people around you?
100%.
Who is this
Damn.
motherfucker? That's what everyone's thinking.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, I've
Got you.
always
And
I've
then,
always treated people that were in a class lower than me like fucking gods, man. That's something that I learned from a very early age. Anyone who's in a service position or is doing a service for me, man, I elevate them and I treat them like fucking kings. I have always had that policy, and that shit has fucking returned dividends.
huh. Nah, that makes a lot of sense. That does make a
People
lot of
have it
sense.
twisted, my brother, and it's a shame. You know, they shit on these people and they give them a hard time and they fucking give them attitude. Huge, huge
Hmm.
fucking mistake.
Yeah, actually, that's something I noticed. Some of my parents would do that, and then it's like now you just got to gatekeep it. That's never gonna
Yeah,
let
now
you
you're
in.
toast, man. You do that one time, you're persona non grata. Like, good luck going back there. They're gonna be fucking hawking loogies and your fucking burgers and shit.
For real. And then I guess yeah, last question is so like when you were first coming up, like how would you treat dating? Cause like did you consider like women to be like slowing you down, or was it just like it was all in a good
Nah,
flow?
so
It
I
was all
was
good.
so my style. I'm a gamer, man. I love the game. So what I understood early on, and this was intuitive to me too, is I always used beautiful women as more chess pieces in the sense that I would never be caught dead in public after a certain age. At some point in my 20s, I got it in my head. I'm like, look, as a man, you don't ever want to be caught dead to rights in public with an ugly chick. That's just a huge fucking mistake. Don't you dare. Like, you can smash mids behind closed doors. That's not a problem. No one gives a fuck about that. And every fucking man likes mids at some point, right?
I ain't denying or accepting
That's what
this
I'm
as
that's what
truth.
I'm saying. So like every man will take a fucking mid sometimes behind closed doors and have a good fucking time. It's just no one has to fucking know about it. So my point is, if you're gonna be in public and you understand as a man that your presentation is the most important fucking thing you have, you better have the baddest chicks draped over you.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And what I'm saying is, so I would use the pretty women as my moneymaker because they were like a black hole. The gravitational pull of that would bring in people talking to me, random fucking conversations, who is this motherfucker, et cetera, et cetera. And then, you can fucking do commerce and conduct business from that.
Yeah, 100%. Because I've noticed when I'm out with my girl, it's like it seems like there's just way more like energy, way more eyes like being put on us, and it's literally just because we're walking around together, and we're like two just young, energetic people.
That's it, man. I mean, I'll tell you this, there's no deal flow, there's no opportunities, there's no serendipity that's popping up to motherfuckers who have no problem bringing a 200-pound chick out to the fucking pool, man. Everyone's wincing at you, everyone's turning a blind. No one wants anything to do with what you got going on in life. Like, if you're into that shit, no problem. Just keep it fucking private and do what you got to do behind closed doors, baby. But like, you got to understand that your presentation as a man is fucking everything. Like, you should always, always be seen with beautiful women in public.
That makes sense because I think it was like you said in the earlier spaces, you said that like your woman is like the pet monkey, like the reflection of you. So if she's not up to par, it's like you're dead.
Like, I would travel around with them, take them on jets. They go to business meetings with you. They're your fucking representative. I had no problem with that. Like, if I'm doing a business lunch, you're right. You're goddamn right. You're rocking with me. You're pulling up with me. We're all going. You know what I'm
Interesting.
saying? And so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just fucking, bro. That's just instant microwavable fucking credibility off the bat right there. There just ain't no
Bet.
two ways about it.
But and then I'm gonna just ask. Can I ask one more question, or do I got
Nah,
to
nah.
keep it
Go ahead,
pushing?
man. It's a good flow.
Okay, so this is the last question. Then it's like this one. Actually, this is the most important one for me. Really, is like when it came to creating your own philosophy. Like, how did you go about doing that? Because right now, I mean, like, I watch videos, I'll scroll Twitter, but I know, like, deep down, like, I need to start listening to myself because, we all have the answers that we need inside us. So, how did you just go about, like, carving out your own philosophy and really just sticking to your own guns?
And honestly, putting myself in situations like an escape artist that no one would no, that nobody next to me would dare put themselves in, and then trying to fucking figure out how I'm gonna get out of it. I did that. I pretty much
Mm,
dedicated my entire 20s to putting myself in a straitjacket, put myself in the most challenging gauntlets imaginable, and then figure out on the fly how I'm gonna fucking deal with this. And then obviously, once you overcome it several times, number one, you build a very, 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 very unbreakable type of confidence where no one can tell you anything anymore because you're literally fucking quantum leaping out of situations that would break most men. And then on top of that, you're
hmm.
the wisdom, bro. The wisdom from fucking having to improv everything and improvise and work with like little to no resources, all that type of shit, man. It builds a fucking type of character, brother, that just is just very fucking fascinating. I mean, you're gonna have very fascinating thoughts when your back's against the wall, you're in a gigantic fucking hole, and the only conclusion you can come to is that you got to dig deeper to get out of it. You know, I mean, I
Gotcha.
was the type of guy where if I was in a hole, sometimes I would know I got to go down. I'm at the nickel core of the earth. I got to go down to the earth's mantle to get the fuck out of this. And so I had no problem digging a deeper hole sometimes to get that fucking strong rebound force, that ricochet force out of it. And then I'd always have a fucking story to tell.
Gotcha. So like when it comes to putting yourself in tough situations, like is that mainly just financial, just like buying something that you probably can't afford at the time, but just finding a way to get the money together so that you can keep living the lifestyle you
Yeah.
want to
So for
live?
me, man, I'll tell you this right now. I've always put the cart before the horse. That's always been my strategy intuitively is I always put the cart before the horse. And what I mean by that is I always had to spend money to earn more money. I always had to publish something to then make a fucking revision and edit after it was already published. Like I always had to make a promise, then figure out how to deliver it. You know what I'm saying? And like the thing is, you can
Mm.
hone your talent, you can hone your skills till kingdom come, but you're gonna get carved up by a motherfucker who can make promises and then piece that story together before the delivery. You're gonna lose to that motherfucker all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, that makes
And
that's
by
it's
the
funny you
way,
say
at the
that.
top, I don't think people even can reconcile how many mistakes, $1 billion mistakes, are being made every fucking day. But nobody knows about it because these guys move so briskly. They move so
Mm.
abruptly and so briskly that they're actually patching up these multi-billion-dollar mistakes in a reasonable amount of time to where there's just the collateral damage just gets kind of suffocated.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
So there's guys that are blowing up monster fucking accounts. There's guys that are managing tons of fucking funds that have literally nuked and detonated everything. But what I'm saying is they move so quickly to repair situations that they're actually able to repair it behind the scenes and still put a fucking encore performance when it comes time to perform.
Oh, so you're saying
Dude, I
like
know a guy,
essentially like
I know a motherfucker that I grew up with. He lied to his wife about a house that he bought because he wanted to impress her. He was feeling super insecure. And he fucking told her he bought a $2 million house and that it needed renovations and they were gonna move in 6 months. He never had the house. He put the lie out there to her, and then he figured out. He's like, all right, I got a 6 month clock now. I got to figure out how to pull it off. And he actually pulled it off, and he bought it before the 6 months, and she never knew. And
what
all
the
I'm
fuck?
telling you is, there's a lot at the top. That those types of games are being played every motherfucking day.
So it sounds like you just got to put the pressure on, and then you'll just find a way to Houdini yourself into like
Well, I think
the.
it's a worthy attempt for every man. It's just that if you find out that you're not the guy and it's not for you, you can always fucking fall back on the cushion. That's the beauty of
Hmm.
it. It's not like you got to fucking commit to this shit forever, but every man should put themselves in the fire at one point or another to see if they're fucking, see what they're made of. And if you're not, fucking, you can dust your hands off and go back and fucking apply for a job. No big deal.
Man, that's beautiful right there. That's true. So like you can really take all the risks you want, and at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, there's always a cushy job that you could get pretty
Always,
easily.
man. It's survival. That's why everyone's so fucked up in the modern world, bro. Because survival has just become way too fucking easy. I mean, you can do it blindfolded. You don't even. You can be a fucking troglodyte. You can have a fucking butchered IQ. Survival is just a joke in the modern world, which is why everyone's so fucking twisted, and you're starting to see all this like exotic types of experiments and shit.
Huh.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's
Well,
it's
anyways,
comfort, man. It's comfort. I mean, the animal ain't wired for this, is what I will tell you.
hmm
It ain't wired for modern civilization, which is why as a man, it's up to you. Got to like orchestrate these things up. You got to put these things on yourself. And I'll tell you something. The more that I live every fucking day, the more it confirms to me that stress that you put on yourself is 100% the fountain of youth, man. It just keeps
hmm
people young. It keeps people moving. I remember maybe 10 years ago, one of my best friends I was growing up with, his mom was elderly. She had him super late in life. I think she was in her 70s. And she
What the
she had
fuck?
health issues, and she was kind of falling out, and she didn't look well, and she had a little retirement account. Anyway, my buddy was running a business, and he ran into a major fucking capital jam, and he had to go
hmm
to his mom, and he had to tell her to break into a large portion of her retirement funds to bail him out, and she did
Shit.
it, and his payback route didn't end up working out, and he ended up going belly up in the company, and it ended up dissolving, and he went bankrupt and all that shit, and he couldn't pay her back in time. And I
hmm
remember he used to call me, and he'd be like, dude, what do I do? He's like, she's hounding me every fucking day. She's asking me how it's going. Can she get the money back? And I told him, because I remember in the moment, it became crystal clear to me. This had been going on for like 5 months, and she was super fucking stressed out about it, and she was kind of tossing and turning. And I jokingly said to him, but in retrospect, it wasn't a joke. I said, "You understand? You just immortalized your mother." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Brother, this is life extension. You extended her life probably by 10 fucking years, because this little tiff that she got in with you is the biggest thrill that she's probably had in like 30 fucking years. She was bored. She was bored. She was dying. She had nothing going on. And you just gave her the roller coaster ride, the thrill of her life. And now chasing you down for this fucking money back, you just literally extended this chick's life. Like she's
Oh
gonna
my
go to live on
gosh.
another 10, 20 years easy from all the fucking stress.
What? Like it sounds crazy, but it actually that does make a lot of sense. Because like, isn't it like when people retire, it's just they die like 6 months later because they just don't have shit to do.
Bro, she was cooked. She had nothing going on. And then all of a sudden she was spry. Like the way she would call him and the way she would keep meticulous tabs on updates and how things were going. Like she had this brand new fucking life breathed into her spirit. It was unbelievable. Out of nowhere. Like this
Shit.
woman literally was like resurrected and had a new lease on life. You know what happened? Obliquely, she got fucking birthed a mission.
Huh.
She got birthed a mission and didn't even realize it.
So does that mean
By
that
the
like
way, by the
as
way, this ain't a joke. During that time, I think it ended up taking him like 4 years to get his bearings back. During that 4 year period, a lot of her health complications actually did disappear.
you
Dead
serious?
serious.
What the
Serious
fuck?
as a heart attack.
So it sounds like from what I'm hearing, it sounds like as long as you just have a mission, not only does it like give you life to like do more, but it kind of just because actually I talk about this a lot with my friends. It's like if you have a mission, it's like everything kind of just like solves itself by you just focusing on the one thing that actually matters to you. And then it seems like your friend also too, he like ended up giving his mom a whole mission by chasing his mission. So it's just crazy how
That's
all that
exactly
works
what
out.
I'm saying. So she didn't, unbeknownst to her, she actually had a mission. You know what I'm saying? She was in that motorcade, in one of those little side motorcades, and she came along for the fucking ride, man. And it injected her body. There was a hormonal upregulation response to whatever kind of stress she was going through. and her
Mm-hmm.
body didn't capitulate. It fought back, and she got herself in a fucking thriving state. I mean, who would have known, man? Something like that changes the whole game. And now this lady's back on her feet. And now I joke about it. Now I joke about it. I'm like, dude, you want to make your grandfather fucking immortal? Ask that motherfucker for a massive fucking loan.
It's funny you said, because I'm thinking the same thing. I might need to go ask my grandma for a loan or something.
Fuck, man.
Get her out the house and doing
Fuck,
stuff.
man. Yeah, it's crazy how it works.
But hey, I really do appreciate this. I don't want to hog up the floor too much, but really, I do appreciate you for all the free
Yep.
game. And yeah, just stay
Yep.
blessed.
Yep. Take
Appreciate you.
care, man. Yo, Brett.
What's up, Brute?
Yo,
Hey, I had a
yo.
question for you.
Uh-huh.
So, in a few spaces, you've talked a lot about masculinity and femininity and like masculine attributes, feminine attributes. And the last one, you had a really interesting point about that the masculine attributes actually kind of dead end and that there's an aspect of femininity that a lot of men fail to integrate. I just want to ask you, can you expound on that point, maybe from a different angle?
Yeah, be more specific. What part of it? When I was talking about the female elements like ferocity, shit like that?
Yeah, and cunning and reciprocity, things like that. Kind of like the aspects of I don't know, just like skull crushing or meatheadedness that a lot of men kind of just adopt as a shell, which I think is a powerful point. But the aspects of that dynamic balance of the feminine attributes and the masculine to be like a whole individual.
Yeah, I mean it's more of a psychological structure. So it's not even it doesn't even get down to the spiritual level in men, but like you want to be on the level playing field of women as far as you want to be able to be as petty as they are. And you especially when it comes to having long drawn out conversations with women, you have to be able to read between the lines and kind of tease things out. And you have to be able to kind of be have that equal footing with them or you're fucked. Like whenever I'm in a long, lengthy discussion with a woman, I am able to match the energy every fucking time, if not completely fucking dominate it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting there with my fucking arms crossed like a fucking ice statue, just fucking like getting reamed. That doesn't fly with me. Like if we're gonna do this and we're gonna go the psychological way, then you better fucking strap in because I got all the artillery you do plus some. But that's what I was saying is like in order to get that sort of I don't want to call it a female brain, but in order to kind of understand it, you have to have been through some pretty fucking crazy turmoil in your life. Like it's that chaotic energy living in that kind of helps you develop that pattern seeking ability. It's a survival mechanism. You know what I mean? Being able to read people, being able to read between the lines. I think the most important skill on earth is being able to read between the lines. Because I don't really take things at face value. Whenever someone says something to me or behaves in a certain way, instantaneously I can ascertain what the fuck that really meant, what's going on underneath the surface, why you said that, where you're coming from, what your ulterior motive is. I have a rapid ability to discern all that shit. So like I'm just not the type of guy like I'm that's why I said like I'm not and that's what's funny about it is that is a female perspective and females in general are the easiest preyed by marketers. Marketing campaigns work very effective on women. They don't work on me at all. I am the least susceptible dude to any kind of fucking marketing campaign, ads, fucking door to door shit. I'm a brick wall. It's just not happening. You're not implanting your idea in my head. It's just not happening. And I've been armored against that by playing in that realm. Like I said, man, I think I said on a spaces a couple years ago, it's very valuable to have a couple very explosive, rocky relationships with women at some point in your life because when there's a lot of fighting going on, you will naturally pick up on a lot of these skills that will help you once you find the right woman and you settle down and have a family. You will be able to integrate that shit and kind of keep the flames down. You'll be able to fan the flames before it gets out of control.
Yeah, that piece about reading between the lines, I can't even articulate how valuable that piece is, honestly. Right? I grew up with
Yeah,
three sisters.
if you can't see where people are coming from really when they say things, because women are never going to be able to tell you what's really going on. Everything with women that's going on that's not going right is a symptom, right?
Yeah.
Everything's a symptom. And it's your job as a man, you got to be a fucking bloodhound. You got to be able to sniff this stuff out. And so it takes a very vast well of experience to draw from in order to understand. Like, when a woman's complaining about you leaving your fucking shirts on the floor, it ain't about that.
Right.
It ain't about the fucking shirts. There's something else that's not being addressed, which is why she's harassing you and being fucking nagging and all that shit. Most guys think, most guys are walking on eggshells around their woman in panic, thinking that they gotta fucking be careful about leaving their clothes out. It's like, you dumb motherfucker. There's something way deeper going on. She's complaining about that because there's something else that's not being fucking addressed. But here's what's interesting too, man, and I'll give you a sidebar that I think people need to understand about this. When a man is unhappy in a relationship with a woman, men, it's very hard to make a man tap out. Men don't call uncle very easily whatsoever. Have a tendency, Men have an inexplicable ability to stay in misery for a very long time. Men usually do not leave. Men will fucking sit through absolute hell for years and years and years and not even know the source of it. And one thing I've noticed is that when a man is very unhappy in a relationship with a woman, he will destroy everything in the perimeter of the relationship. In other words, he will start attacking everything but the actual problem itself. It's kind of like a chemotherapy strategy. He like applies radiation to every cell, trying to kill off everything, hoping the unconscious desires that if he destroys everything else in his life, maybe she'll get the courage to finally get up and fucking leave. Because men, for whatever reason, just can't get up and fucking make the first move. It's unreal. I see guys in their job that are working a job for 3 years. They want to quit. They don't want to be there, and they will do everything in their power to get fired. They want someone else to do the dirty work for them. They want the girl to leave. They want the fucking boss to fire them. God forbid they make the fucking first move and be the one that steps out.
Yeah.
And you
Preach it,
see
man.
that, dude, you see this pattern fucking everywhere, man.
I was going to say in sales, it's like anytime you're talking to someone, you know, the thing we're talking about is not what we're talking about. And I do think the ability to say it and call it gets you from point A to B so much more efficiently.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm honestly, brother, I got a fucking PhD in that. Like, if I see, if I sniff out any kind of fucking bullshit on phone calls, I just call it on the fucking table in 3 seconds.
Yep. And like you said, skills are made in the ring. There's no question there. So I full-heartedly agree with what you're saying about just the dynamic of when you're breaking down relationships, getting to what's the thing behind the thing. That was the biggest feminine value that I learned from growing up with sisters. So I just thought that was a fantastic point, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Hey, I've heard you make numerous references to athletes getting the yips, and I thought it was interesting. On your last space, you said that you're kind of in a rut. When you talked about athletes having the yips, you've said that people need to lose all awareness of their technique. What are you doing right now to kind of unwind the bad flow that you're in?
I started throwing more weight on the bar. I started throwing more weight on the bar than what I think I'm capable of achieving, because it shuts down all the doubt. It shuts down any ability for me to kind of override myself and make a blunder before I make the attempt. You know, there's a trick in weightlifting, and I learned this from the Russians. This is a pretty badass fucking trick to psych yourself in the right direction. And I've used this extensively. It's called a dirty bar. So what you'll do is you'll attack a huge lift. Let's say I'm trying to snatch 300 pounds, right? And
Yep.
I keep missing. For whatever reason, I'm too aware of my technique. I'm faking myself out before I take the attempt. So what the dirty bar is, you go take a 1 kilogram disc and you throw it on one side. So now you got a kilogram extra on one side, lopsided, right? So now you actually got more weight on the bar than what you just tried to take, and the bar is imbalanced by 1 kilo.
Right.
Do you know how? I mean, I'm sure you can take a wild guess. Do you know how many motherfuckers are successful on the next attempt once they get the dirty bar?
100%.
It's astounding how many people hit the next attempt, just knowing that they tweaked it and threw it off, because your body When you lift the weight, yeah, it's 300 pounds. A kilo you would think is not much percentage wise, but your body's gonna go into that overcompensation mode and it's gonna fucking throw it up even harder. And that's just the fucking dude. That's the fucking beautiful fucking trick because you can apply that to almost anything in your life. Like when if I have to go heavier if I'm struggling.
Yep, I totally get it. For a sport more like baseball or golf or tennis that's more in the mind, what would you do if you were in that position?
That's a great question, man, because I've had so many D1 pitchers reach out to me. I've even talked to some MLB guys who are talking about the pitching yips. I know that thing is fucking brutal. You want to tell us what that's like? Are you a pitcher?
No, so I'm not a pitcher, but I overcame the yips in golf. So I was like top 20 in the world at one point when I was a kid. And I got the driver yips to the point where I'm not shitting you, I couldn't keep it on the course. And
And it
I eventually had to get crazy. Like now when I go play, I'm drinking before the round, I'm drinking during the round. I've never driven it better in my life, but I have a ton of friends that played pro baseball, NCAA baseball, and they said they would do the same shit. Like they had to get totally out of their head, no technique whatsoever.
yeah, and so those days where your strokes would be broken, like literally a week before, you're just shooting lasers, huh?
Right. Exactly. And you can do it on the range, you can do it in practice, but as soon as the game rolls around, you're fucked.
So give me an analogy. Is it fair to say the yips is like basically waking up as a boxer and one day your left jab just don't work?
100%. Like a boxer would be missing somebody that's standing still in front of them. And they couldn't tell you why it's happening. They couldn't tell you why it would be happening if they saw their technique on camera. Like they just can't put their hand on the opponent.
And then they start to get performance anxiety, which
Correct.
which
And
digs
then
a deeper fucking hole.
right. Then they start focusing on the technique and then they've lost their entire field, their athleticism, everything.
Bro, that's happened to me probably 3,000 times in my weightlifting career. There's just some days I'll go in there and all of a sudden I just can't time a snatch. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yesterday I didn't have one miss in a session. Today I've missed like 13 in a row. My timing is just horrific. And then you start fucking, I mean, dude, psyching yourself out. This is an underrated fucking topic. No one ever talks about this, man. How easy it is to psych yourself out of anything before you take an attempt.
Oh, for sure. Well, I got this theory that practicing too much leads to these detrimental performances. Because if you're practicing a ton and you're like a world class baseball player, golfer, Olympic lifter, you're ingraining into your brain that you don't have what it takes to get it done off of your natural ability. And I think that's the most fucked place you can be in.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. That's a fact. I had a coach one time who he wasn't really my coach, but he was kind of like a consultant for me. And he would like look at some of my videos of my lifts and shit, and he would give me cliff notes and just kind of opinions. I kind of scrapped the opinions, but I enjoyed kind of the technical side of it. And one of the biggest fucking pieces of bullshit advice that I ever got from any coach was that the way you practice is the way you perform in the arena.
Yeah, it's
That's
not whatsoever.
It's not whatsoever, man. The performance in the arena itself is a completely unique talent and ability.
Well, yeah. So, like in golf, there's a lot of analogies between guys that can't practice on the range that are great on the course, and then vice versa. And we would refer to them as like a range player, where they can stripe it on the range, then they get onto the course,
Yeah.
and they're literally like 20 handicap points worse.
Yep, guys that just know how to step up in the big moments. Dude, I watched in the French Open. There was a fucking barn burner tennis match between Sasha Zverev versus Carlos Alcaraz. It was the final, and this was fucking great, bro. This fucking highlights this perfectly. Zverev was getting his fucking ass kicked in the first set by Alcaraz, and he was getting frustrated because he couldn't return this dude's serves at all. And this guy is he's an all court player, but he's a fucking master on clay. And he just can't fucking return serve. And his father happens to be his coach. So after a return game, when he gets fucking smacked 40 love, you see him go over to the box and the camera pushes in and you see him gesture to his dad. He mouthed him. He's like, "What do I do?" Shrugs his shoulders, just totally frustrated. And his dad fucking sneers at him, like glowers at him and says, "You figure it out."
Right.
He literally says on camera, "You figure it out." Guess what happened? Next fucking game, he breaks the motherfucker's serve. It
Yep.
was it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, because if he gave him the technical aspect of it, he wouldn't have been able to fucking just go back into his body and figure it out. And he almost beat him, by the way. He ended up scalping the next two sets, and then he's a mental midget, so he fell apart towards the end. But he was dominating the rest of the match after that comment from his father.
Man, that's a whole other conversation in itself. Like, I don't think there's a bigger blessing than having a dad that's just an asshole to you if you're in sports. Like, there's nothing that creates a stronger DNA in an athlete.
100%, man. You just got to go back and trust your fucking intuition and use those fucking angels over your shoulder to kind of guide you. You know what I'm
What?
saying? Work your
100%.
work yourself out of that hole, man. Because you could see him. He was bitching out. He was like looking for fucking direction. He was looking for guidance from everywhere besides himself. Stop
Yep.
trusting yourself. And then, boom! Once that focal point went back in, this motherfucker got on a huge roll.
Hey, one more for you. What went into the decision to go to Scottsdale from LA? Because I was in LA as well throughout the pandemic, and I feel like I'm at the point where I need to get out of SoCal. But how do you like living in Scottsdale, and why did you go there originally?
So a couple dudes who played for the Arizona Cardinals hit me up to come lift with them, and I had never been to Arizona in my life, and I drove out there one weekend. It was actually a crazy story. I was hurting bad at the time, and this was right when NFTs were super fucking popular. And I jumped on the wagon and I fucking uploaded a picture of my fucking head as an NFT. I think I listed it for something like 40 G's or like 36,000, something like that. Someone bought it within 24 hours. And I took that bread and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking bounce to AZ for a bit. And I went to AZ that same weekend and I fucking started lifting with these guys on the Cardinals. And dude, I've never been back since.
Man, that's crazy.
And I came out there with just a fucking duffel bag. I had like 3 pairs of clothes, some shoes, and I've never been back to LA since, brother. It's been 3+ years. Chance weekend, and I just figured it out, made it happen, lived in a hotel, worked my way up. It was crazy too, because when I came to Scottsdale, I remember driving through the first time, looking up on Camelback Mountain where all the beautiful houses were. And I remember just kind of logging that in the archives of my head. And then sure as shit, bro. Sure as shit, 3 years down the road, I'm up there on that fucking mountain that I saw when I was driving in. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I'm just an adaptable fucking creature. You can throw me anywhere and I'll scale my way to the top pretty quickly.
Yeah, I hear you. I think there's something to that warm weather though, and I get why people would go there from LA.
Bro, I love the fucking dry heat, man. I'm like the only guy outside during the day. Everyone's fucking, all the snowbirds leaving shit, man. I love the fucking, it's like 115 today, I think. I'm like outside 8 or 9 hours a day.
Yep. I get it.
Yep.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Yo, Joel.
Yo, Brute, what's good? I just got a question about self-talk, especially monitoring what you should really listen to. And I remember you mentioned kind of self-talk and maintaining that and telling you the right things is super important. So how do you go about installing the right things in your brain whilst also kind of throwing away the shit that is only going to send you off track?
Good question. So I've kind of actually revised that theory on the fly, and I figured there's a superior way to even the self-talk. Okay, look, your mind and your thoughts are completely fucking uncooperative. It is anyone who tells you you can control your thoughts, you can fucking, they're lying to you. No motherfucker can truly control their fucking thoughts. That's just a complete fucking myth. I'll tell you right now. But I think most people have been fooled by the modern world into believing that all battles are battles that are won by rationality. As if you score points and you tally up the scoreboard by being on the correct side of things. And let me tell you something. You are going to get your ass fucking handed to you by somebody else who makes their thoughts yield to their emotions. And I think that's the superior way. That's the way I've been experimenting with my whole fucking life. And I recently was able to put it into words. I make my thoughts submit to my emotions. My emotions fucking control everything. Because the rational side of things, brother, there's really no payoff there. It's a very, 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 very highly irrational world.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. I feel like you can talk your way out of things with the pure logic. Sometimes it's best just to double down on those impulsive feelings, but
I,
also kind of separating the degeneracy out of the, you know, the more positive side of things.
yeah, man. I mean, I'm just dude. I'm an emotional fucking creature, man. Always have been. Always wore my heart on my sleeve. Always been passionate about anything that I do. I was a sore sport growing up and shit, and I've always embraced it. I don't. My thoughts are very stormy, bro. Like I can barely even put together a coherent thought in my own head throughout the day, but yet I know how to make the right moves. As soon as I get into the arena, something snaps on and it just becomes automatic for me. And I think that's why. I think that's what's made me so fucking good in the arena. That's why I flourish. Because I
Yeah.
really, really don't try to sit there and have clarity of mind. I don't even have clarity of mind. I do have clarity of body though. My body is extremely fucking healthy and strong. And I have a strong hunch that the vitality and the health and the spirit that I have within my body kind of feeds and pipes the intuition into my head, makes things easier for me. But like I don't plan anything. I don't pre-plan thing. I don't ever have to mull things over in my head a second time. Anytime I'm asked something, I know in a fucking snap second whether I want to do it, whether it's the wrong thing for me. Everything I do, I make a decision in a snap fucking judgment moment in time and I don't doubt it.
So would you say a lot of that comes from, because I was going to link it back to kind of childhood, because everyone says that's where you're kind of heavily programmed from. Would you say you can kind of mold that in a sense just through straight experience? Like you do get that intuition through being in certain scenarios that, in a split second you can say, okay, you can just assign labels to certain things going on and navigate it that way.
100%. It's that, and it's also the ability that I don't believe I can make mistakes. I can fuck up grandly. I can fuck up better than anybody in the world, but I know that it's like fucking what's his name, William Blake said. I think he said man is dirigible, which means man is steerable. I know I can fucking steer the ship, and sometimes sometimes I gotta fucking turn a battleship around with a carved wooden oar, and it's gonna take me a second. But I'm gonna keep fucking paddling, and I believe that every fucking mistake you make can be righted. That's why I said the truth is malleable because you might have fucked up now. You might be in a pinch now. You might be in a hole now, but that doesn't have to be true 6 months from now. You can fix that. You can change history. So
For sure.
if you operate from the premise that everything you do, you can figure out how to turn it into a victory, then it really doesn't matter what the fuck you do, right? You can make snap calls. You can make snap judgments like you're fucking flying a fucking blackbird going Mach 6. What's the fucking difference? You're going to adjust on the fly. You're gonna adjust on the fly. You're gonna fine tune your craft as you're going, and you're gonna fucking figure it out as you just keep going forward. And so I've just always had that bull rush kind of matador mentality where I'm just gonna keep going into the like kind of like Hunt for Red October, where you just go into the head of the nuke. That's always been my style. I'm like a moth to a flame. I see flame, boom, I rush to it. I've been like that with opportunity. I've been like that with everything, and then you don't really have to worry about making the right moves because everything's the right fucking move when you live from intuition.
Yeah. Would you
Like
say that?
what the fuck is everyone so fucking worried about, man? Calculating fucking decisions. Life don't work like that. Life doesn't reward your little fucking calculations. And if it does, and you end up winning big off your little calculations, your spirit's gonna be dead. What kind of life is that? So now you're sitting on a huge fucking bag of money, but you're spiritually lobotomized. I don't want that. I told you, bro. Money problems are an energy problem. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like your style, the way you deal with your finances, the way you deal with anything, all comes back to where your energy flow is. If you have
Mm,
high energy, you're gonna fucking hate those little cushy fucking 10% APR returns every year. You'll even probably hate 30, 40%. You're gonna want to get in the fucking arena and get your hands dirty every day and hunt for your fucking kills. That's what high energy people do. That's why some people just love sales. They love that commission, being reliant on fucking commission because it feeds their spirit. And they know that if they were on that fixed income, they would fucking slack off and lose their spirit.
yeah, I hear that. I'm in a similar position. So I run an e-commerce brand, but it's kind of soul draining. It's a lot of time in front of a laptop. It's very systematical. There's not really too many ups and downs. I've tried to counteract that with just constant traveling, so at least I have some kind of entropy going on. But yeah, really, yeah, there's definitely something missing.
That's a good style. I know a bunch of dudes that are doing that type of shit, like trying to. I mean, look, man, there's like very few solutions to this type of shit, man. It's oftentimes spending money and then trying to figure out how you can keep up with it. But you know, you understand the paradox, right? People spend more money when they don't have any.
Yeah,
People always spend more bread than they even have when they don't have any. And when people do have money, every expenditure feels like a fucking paper cut. You just feel like you're dying by 100 fucking cuts when you have it. But when you don't have it, that's when people are splurging and going over the top. Pretty fucking interesting how the psychology works.
yeah, for sure. And would you say this kind of mindset is an innate thing, or do you think it is a skill you can develop over time?
I think it's innate. I think the skill can definitely be developed, like in the sense that you can absolutely get better. Here, no, here's the thing. Like finances, I think are locked in genetically. Like if you're born cheap, you're probably gonna die cheap. That shit's as terminal as fucking cancer. To me, I've never seen a cheap person become not cheap. If you've always been free flowing, freewheeling, fucking loose with your money, I mean, you're probably always gonna die that way as well. I don't think I've never really seen people make provisions on that end of it, but you can put yourself in more challenging situations where you can start. You got to basically make your feeder wider, like whatever's feeding your business. Like those types of guys who are cheap and who struggle to kind of spend, those guys would be much better off throwing a bunch of different arms in their business to kind of make some add some chaos to the mixture. You know what I mean? Like a guy who's a control freak and who's working by himself would probably be better off grabbing a huge fucking team to help him out. Throw yourself in like a leadership position.
Yeah,
You
I
just
hear
need
that.
you need some kind of stimulus that's gonna fucking overwhelm the current situation in order to make a change. That's the only way anything ever happens.
Yeah. So you would double down on drastic change, just implementing something that might not even make sense, just to kind of kick up some dust.
Kick up some dust, see where it settles. And like I said, what's the downside of it? I mean, if you fail, we all know in modern worlds, I mean, it's just so easy to fucking cruise by. It's easy to cruise by. Anyone can do it.
Yeah, for sure. I do have one last question. It's a little less relevant, but I remember on a Spaces way back, you said you did some Muay Thai. I wondered if you could touch on that, if that kind of taught you any lessons or
Yeah,
anything to
so
do
I
with
mean,
that
I was
experience.
yeah. So I was super broke. I was 18, and I come from a long line of prize fighters in my family. I got my one of my grandfathers, one of my uncles, my dad himself, all boxers, and so I picked it up from an early age. Like I was doing Dutch kickboxing way before it was even in the UFC. I was learning that shit when I was like 7. So when I was 18, my brother was also a very talented fighter. We would do these garage fights, and then I went to Europe when I got kicked out of my house. I went there with a woman, and I was playing high stakes poker over there in Monaco. And I would go to Italy. Italy had a really subterranean fight culture like 10 years ago. People don't realize like MMA, jiu-jitsu and shit huge over in Europe. And I would do smoker fights, which were basically unsanctioned, basically no rules. I mean, you can't fucking kick people in the balls and spit on them, but pretty much anything else flies. I had twelve smoker fights when I was super young, and they paid horribly, man. I mean, at the time, it was good money for me. It was like $2,500 for a fight,
Yeah,
and
shit.
I coasted off my athleticism. By the way, I was pretty lazy in training, and dude. There was an interesting little side theory I'll give you. I have a theory that the guys, the tough men of history, the fucking the mountain men, the fucking frontiersmen, the guys who fucking literally discovered Colorado, Wyoming, those fucking mountain back motherfuckers. Those guys were the toughest motherfuckers on earth. And if you read the lore and you read the literature about the types of shit that they experienced, they would get into tons of fucking fist fights with people in their camps and caravans. I venture to tell you that those motherfuckers who were not trained in MMA whatsoever would whoop the fuck out of any modern skilled fucking MMA fighter, because they just had the conditions of life were so different back then. Life was so tough. It was so hard scrabble that there was just an innate toughness in you from birth that was instilled. And I have a feeling that that's why society is sort of slingshotting the other way, is because society is so easy that now you're starting to see the popularity and rise of MMA, which is basically just a proxy to try to make conditions tough as they were in history. So those tough mountain motherfuckers, bro, I promise you would knock the fucking block off of a modern MMA fighter with zero fucking fight training. They were just so fucking tough and had that natural strength that you just can't even get in a gym. It was more of like a fighting spirit. Does that make sense? Like there was a spiritual component to it. They had so much fucking heart that you're just not going to knock this guy out. He's just going to keep coming at you until he takes you down.
Yeah, there's a certain level of grit that comes with that for sure.
That comes with that environment. And so like when I was training, that's why I stopped training, because I realized this is just a fucking pastiche. This is a clone. I'm trying to clone something that's not even fucking there. Like I'm trying to fabricate this environment and get this skill set that isn't even really applicable to the modern realm. So I kind of got out of it. But yeah, bro, I was lazy in training. I was chain smoking. I would run a very short fucking camp and I was whooping ass in there. Yo, bow tied analyst.
Hey, bro, what's good, man?
What's up, bro?
First off, I've been consuming your content for the past couple of years, and you've really helped me just kind of get my shit together and move things in a positive direction. So I appreciate you, brother. I just wanted to talk about, I've been reading the Elon Musk biography by Walter Isaacson, and it's been pretty interesting. It kind of just talks about how he's basically taken just a flamethrower to his brain and, pushing himself and his team on these big objectives and just making them tangible by just relentlessly pushing, frankly. But his relationships with women, I think, are super interesting. He's got kids with his Neuralink executive, he's got kids with Grimes, kids with his first wife, he has a second wife that he got divorced to twice in there. And it seems like a lot of the men at the top basically have harems, whether or not it's like explicitly or implicitly in that. And I just wondered what your thoughts on that type of relationship were. Like, does that work? Is that like something practical once you have so much money? Just kind of, I know you said that you wanted to have 10 kids. Tate obviously is, um, very successful, I think, in this regard. And just wanted to get your take.
Yeah, it's a good question, man. I think I don't know that Musk actually attempt that configuration?
I don't know that he formally attempted it, but he's super pro having kids. And um, yeah, I mean, he has 5 kids with his first wife. They got divorced. He married and divorced Tallulah twice. His Neuralink executive has been a close to intellectual companion of his over the years, and he just, professes his love of kids and tells
Yeah, I mean, dude, that type of mind.
want to have
Yeah,
kids.
the type of mind that guy has is so incompatible with any kind of modern relationship. He can't give anybody any attention. That's the problem. This guy is like so maniacally, monolithically obsessed with his fucking dream that he just literally can't. He doesn't have time for anybody. But I'll tell you this as a side note, and then I'll get back to it. I saw there was a post a year ago, and I used to think Elon was a cuck, but I don't think so. There was a post of these blurbs that ex-girlfriends had said about Elon. These kind of like iconic little blurb quotes, and one of them was hard as fuck, and that's when I knew Elon was actually the guy. I think one of his exes, and I forget who, said I could say anything to him while we were fighting, and he would be completely unfazed. Something along the lines of that. And I just remember sitting there and I was like, dude, that is exactly like that's it. There's nothing that no more needs to be said about anybody. Like if you could put that on an epitaph and you could get something fucking engraved on your fucking tombstone, you'd want something similar to that. Like this is a guy who's seen it all, done it all, been it all. So I just thought that was hard as fuck, and I was like, he's probably is the fucking guy, even though he's had tumultuousness and like you said, he's had fucking several divorces and splits and trysts like blow up and shit. But about the harem thing, I don't know that that shit really works, man. I'm skeptical. I'm very skeptical.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
What
makes
are your
sense.
thoughts on it?
Um, to be completely honest with you, brother, over the past couple of years, I've kind of improved my life a lot. I'm not like a multimillionaire or anything, but I'm making, mid five figs a month and doing pretty well for myself. And as I've become more successful, as I, dress better, as I get in better shape, I've noticed that the way women respond to me, I mean, once they find out you're moderately successful together, frankly, they kind of throw themselves at you, you know? So I could see how like a lot of guys at the top are getting a ton of play and no one else is really getting anything. I think one of the biggest realizations I've had is that like the lifestyle that you can provide a woman is how she feels about you. And like the way that you feel about a woman's hotness is how she feels about the lifestyle that you can provide for her. And I think that's super underrated, especially as like the economy just gets worse and it gets harder for people to survive.
See, I've been kind of thinking the opposite. I think I've been telling guys to get the fuck out of here with the breadwinner shit, even though I happen to be in that style. I just think, bro, women, a lot of women that I know are outbreeding a lot of men in a lot of ways. There's like a schism in the culture. Like women, I don't think women really have financial issues in the modern society. They're kind of killing it. Whether they're whatever fucking platforms they're using. I mean, women are doing all right on that end. But yeah, obviously, dude, at the extremes, like the right end of the bell curve, of course, then you're gonna have those configurations. But I also think that the lifestyle, it's here's how I see men and women. Okay, we basically like women for their looks, and women. I think women, people say women are irrationally in love. I think women are very rational with the way they love a man because I don't believe women ever actually love a man. It's always something around you that they love. Does that make sense? Like women love the things that are going on around you. It's not necessarily you. And I've kind of zeroed in on this, and that goes kind of hand in hand. That kind of dovetails with your point about the lifestyle. Um, but yeah, bro. I mean, women have zero clue about scale, dimension, shit like that. Like they don't understand the creation of money whatsoever. So like you'll upgrade a woman's lifestyle. You can literally take a woman out of the workforce who grew up in like a fucking lower caste society, and you can start throwing her on private jets and taking her around the fucking world. She'll start blowing money that same day like she was born that way.
True,
She'll
true.
start blowing money like it was like she had this thing the entire fucking time. There's really no appreciation for it. I'll also tell you something interesting. Women don't have the ability to really process cash itself. Like the numbers don't mean anything to a woman. Tell a woman you have 3 million, tell a woman you have 30 million. They don't care. They don't really understand the purchase power or like the relativity of like what you can really do with 30 million, what you can really do with 3 million. And I know this because when I used to live in Vegas, I would have huge wins and I'd be with like a girlfriend or whatever. And I'd go to my vault and sometimes I'd have to pull out $1 million in cash, in actual cash bricks. And I'd have to go down to the casino floor to place a bet. And she'd go down with me and I had to stuff it into a fucking duffel and carry it down. And every time that vault opened, I experimented with this every which way. There was never any gasp or their eyes never popped out of their head. They didn't give a fuck. Like you show a woman $1 million in physical paper, they're just like, oh, that's cool. Women only, but you show a motherfucking man $1 million in paper, this motherfucker's gonna be freaking out. Like most people have never seen that kind of money in
For
physical paper
sure.
because they understand what you can do with that. Women, though, appreciate and respect the conversion of the cash. So like they only understand the Ferrari. Like show them the Ferrari, then they're fucking bedazzled by it. But tell them that Ferrari was 260 G's in cash. They don't give a fuck. They don't think you're cool. It doesn't turn them on. They don't give a fuck until it's converted into something like a fucking diamond or a ruby or a topaz or a Ferrari or a crib. Like that's the only way they can understand the power of money is when it converts. The cash itself is totally fucking irrelevant to their brain.
That makes
And
sense.
if you know my like my thesis on a lot of things, you'll see how that coincides with my philosophy in a lot of ways about spending. about spending more to earn more, about spending to gain. Yo, Sean boy,
Yo, what's up, bro?
what's up, man?
Yo, so I'm in this situation right now where it's pretty nuclear with my girl. I'm 24. I got a 7-month-old son, and things were great when she was pregnant and whatever. She would fucking do anything for me, fucking at my behest. But nowadays, it's fucking like we absolutely fucking hate each other. Uh, it's like insults, toxic as fuck. It's pretty honestly crazy. And her only other option is to, like, I mean, she's got nothing, she's got nothing. So her only other option is, like, if I kick her out, she's going to like 100 miles away to live with her dad or whatever, and taking my kid. I don't know what the fuck to even do. I know you have a son with a previous relationship, so I was just kind of seeing, what your insight on that would be.
Yeah, I think this is super common. You said your baby's what, 7 months old?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming that you're not domesticated in the sense that you're probably the type of guy who can't sit there and fucking like be a second mom. You're not trying to fucking sit
Exactly, dude.
and
Exactly.
and that's probably the source of the friction, correct?
100 fucking percent, dude.
And
I'm
she wants
always
and she probably wants a ton of help.
help. Yes, she always
Okay.
complains about it, and I'm always like out there trying to get a bag, like doing me, making music, doing like how I was before. Just all shit, like all this shit happened.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, this is just the fucking male instinct, bro. God bless the motherfuckers who are domesticated because I've gone through the same fucking thing. And I'll tell you this, it is like the natural male impulse is like, you're not a second mom.
Yeah,
You're just not. You can't do it. Like, I could not sit there and play with baby blocks for 5 hours a day. I just can't do it. I'll blow my fucking brains out.
yeah. I mean, I see my son every day, and I love like holding them and like
Of
bonding,
course.
but like
Of course.
after like a while, I'm like, all right, I really gotta go. I got shit to do, and it's just like,
Are you a chaotic motherfucker in the sense that your train of thought, does it annoy you when like you're in a train of thought or you're in a flow, you're in a rhythm, and then you get asked for help?
yes,
You got to break the
fuck.
rhythm, go help out, go hold the baby. Now you feel like your whole momentum and all your train of thoughts been fucking
Yes, one hundred
erased.
percent. That's why, like, bro, honestly, like, I got my phone, or I got her specifically, like, fucking muted. Like, I don't want no interruptions to my shit. I want to, like, cause like that shit bothers me. Oh, I gotta drive somewhere. We gotta do some shit or whatever. I'm just like, nah.
So let me tell you something that works fucking wonders. All right, and it's not a big investment, but you're probably gonna have to do it. At least fucking give it a shot. If you take 1 or 2 hours out of your fucking day just for quality time, and you literally put your phone the fuck away. You go hang out with the baby, you go hang out with her, have a fucking conversation, be present for the 1 or 2 hours. You have 22 motherfucking hours left in the fucking day to do whatever the fuck you got to do. And that's all it's gonna take. And I promise you, the complaining and the fucking bitching and the moaning and whatever will fucking come to a fucking screeching halt. But you got to be willing to put that time in every fucking. It should be every day, brother. It really should. I mean
Do
that
you
because I'm
go
saying
ahead?
that's what you signed up for, and I think that like look, it's no secret that when babies are that young, they really do need their mother way more than they need you.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's breastfeeding. If she is or isn't, it doesn't matter. I mean, she's super dependent upon her mom for survival right now. So yeah,
Right.
she's gonna have her most of the time. But this is the problem about two people back to back trying to take on the world by themselves, man. I mean, you need like, does she have sisters? You have family that you can incorporate and come over and fucking give her a helping hand? Because dude, it is stressful as fuck on them in the beginning, especially because they're just not feeling safe and their hormones are fucked up. They need to feel that extra sense of safety and protection from you. So if you're too focused on your mission and you can't take that time to just show her that you still care and you're still there and you're still rocking with her, you're gonna awaken that beast that I talked about on that last spaces, and then she's just gonna
Yep.
she is gonna come at you, brother, every minute of every day and make your life and her life a miserable fucking hell. And then you know who gets dragged in the crosshairs?
The
the
kid.
innocent one, the kid. And then it becomes a strain and a stress on them because they sense everything and they know when you guys have tension. So for the fucking sanity and care of your child, you're gonna have to fucking, I mean, I hate to put it this way, but you're gonna have to grow up a little bit and put that time into it, brother. Like you really don't have a choice because this is what you signed up for. You can't just leave her to take care of a fucking kid because that's gonna really fucking hurt the kid.
Yeah, like I mean,
And I'm sure I know what you're going through, bro. Like you guys are probably fucking hating. Are you guys sleeping in the same bed right now?
nah, nah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we hate each other, bro. I'm telling you. Like,
Hmm.
she's. I mean, the Kraken is awakened, bro. Like you were talking about in the last stream. I think I requested to speak because I was like, damn, perfect moment because I wanted to tell you this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
bro.
You dropped a fucking stick of dynamite in a fucking volcano.
Yeah, bro. For real.
That's what you did. And I'll tell you this, it's all you. You are literally the leader. She's gonna follow your lead. So you're setting the example every time you shun her off. And I'm sure I can almost imagine it. When she hands you the baby or asks you for a favor, you're probably fucking rolling your eyes.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
your body language is all fucked up. You're trying to show her you don't want to fucking be there. She's bothering you. You gotta fucking clean that shit up, man. You gotta clean that shit up. She needs your fucking support, man. I mean, you fucking put a baby in her.
yeah. Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
dude, I know it's me, and I know it's like my fault that she's acting this way. Because I mean, before the baby was here, I mean, it was totally different. And I mean, yeah, it was way, way worse when he was a newborn. But like, I
so you
mean,
so you know what you got to do?
it.
You got to go back to the oil painting because women are futuristic creatures. So what you got to do is you got to go back to painting that fucking picture of the future and what's popping and what's coming up. Keep her informed like what kind of deals you working on, brother? I am telling you, women just love the communication of knowing what's going on. If you start getting distant while you have a baby with a woman and you're obsessed with your mission and you're like, fuck this bitch, she's interrupting my mission, I don't want to be around her, dude,
Mhm.
you are going to fucking incinerate everything to a fucking cigarette butt. Don't do that. Go back to like women need the future fucking painted for them. You gotta like get back to that. Show her what's coming. Show her what's she can look forward to. What's ahead for you guys. Like you
Yeah,
gotta
bro.
fucking start painting those fucking pictures again, man. And I know it's fucking tough because I'm the same fucking way, man. I like to play. My mission comes before everything, even myself.
Yeah,
But I've had to step up big in the last 2 months, brother, and sit down and have these fucking conversations and just be present and fucking and then get back to my shit. And that's literally all it takes though to make them satisfied. Give them the 2 hours and be super fucking expressive and communicative and tell her what's going on because that's going to give her the safety and she's going to feel protected. And then guess what? She's going to get the fuck off your ass. She's feeling super fucking abandoned right now. Like she's thinking any minute you're going to ditch her and leave her with a 7 month old. That's exactly what's going on. So obviously, a new mother, the fucking claws and the fangs are gonna come out because you're essentially threatening her young. You're threatening her cubs in the den without even being aware of it. So you're gonna have to go
yep,
back, and it's tough for guys like us, man. Like we're the weak. My Achilles heel has always been the comfort side of it because I'm so fucking maniacal. I'm such a crazy motherfucker on this other end of the spectrum that it can make people feel unsafe. And so you got to go back to the safety aspect. And it doesn't,
yo, I,
but real quick, bro, it doesn't even matter if you like her or don't like her. I'm saying you got to do this for the benefit of your child.
yo, can you hear me,
Yo,
bro?
Sean, I'm here, man. I'll just-
All right, yo, I don't know what happened, bro. I just had like a weird connection issue, but yeah, it's harder to like want to do that and invest that time after like it's just the way that after the Kraken's been released, it's like what like I don't even want to like I don't even want to do
I
it.
know you don't. I know you don't. I know exactly what you're going through. You don't want to do it. You want to go the opposite direction. Every time she pisses you off and upsets you and causes inflammation to your situation, you want to go the opposite direction to teach her a fucking lesson. I know you want her to fucking suffer until she
Yep.
submits. That's that's a
Yeah.
tactic that a lot of motherfuckers use. They want a woman to be absolutely fucking miserable and in fucking the pits of hell so that finally they just give up and are like, fuck, I surrender. Let me tell you something. That ain't happening with a 7 month old. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You can wear a chick down when you don't have kids with her. But as soon as you get offspring, brother, she will fight like a possum until the end of fucking time and wear your ass down until everybody's destroyed. And that's the scary thing too.
Yeah, bro. It's like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just straight up like, you know exactly what's going on. But I was gonna ask, like, if you know who Brandon
I
Carter
don't.
is. Um, okay, well, he said the same thing about making 2 hours out of your time, like tops, to spend with your women, just to like keep them sane. But I feel
Bro,
like even after that two
bro,
hour,
do you know how bored? You know how bored a woman is when they have a newborn and they literally have to sit around all day feeding her, clothing her, changing her diapers and shit. They get bored to tears. So their
yeah,
mind starts twisting and warping reality, and they start hyper focusing on nonsense. And that's a failure of leadership on your part, because her mind should not be going there. You should be getting in front of the problem before it becomes a problem. And the only reason why I'm pushing this so hard on you is because here's what's going to happen. Women will start to resent the fuck out of the kid if you become a fucking prick. So she's going to start hating your fucking son or daughter. Like that's a
wow,
real fucking thing. They start to despise them because you're an image cast. You're a reverse mirror of the baby. And you don't fucking want that. Then she's gonna start mistreating her or him unconsciously. It's not even gonna be conscious. There's gonna be neglect. She's gonna want to
wow.
tap out. So like the ripple effect of this shit, it ain't a joke. It,
Yeah, and it's crazy too because you say that my son, she always has said like once he started developing that he looks exactly like me. So it's just like I could imagine she would just resent him because it makes just remembers like me from looking at
that's
him.
exactly what's gonna happen. And it's all going to get transplanted on the kid. I mean, bro, this is literally the start of generational damage. Like, this is exactly how this shit happens. Dudes have a kid. You guys are all high on it during the pregnancy. Kid comes. Guy doesn't want to fucking be around because he can't fucking sit there around baby screams all day. Wants to get back on the mission, wants to get back to work, starts neglecting his chick. Then his chick starts inflicting all the trauma onto the fucking baby in retaliation to the man without even realizing it, because that's how incendiary and how fiery women are. Their flame is so insane and out of control because this isn't a lighter, brother. This is a forest fire you're playing with. So everybody's going to get burned.
Yeah.
She's going to burn down the house, you, the baby. Everyone has to die with women. When women are like suffering and they're not getting the help they need and support, they're going to fucking burn every motherfucker to the floor. And you know why that is? That's the biological response, that if they create that much chaos and that much hell for everybody, maybe a counter force will come in and see what's going on and come save them. Then you get the damsel in distress archetype. And you
Yeah.
don't fucking want to go down that road. Even if you guys are done, like, you still have an obligation to the kid. That's the way I see it.
Bro, oh man, you like you're making me want to just like go back to my fucking
You
crib
got to
right
go
now.
back right now, dog, and show that woman some fucking love, man. I'm dead serious. And sit down with her and fucking tell her what is up. Because her mind is going to go to some really fucking dark places, brother. And you don't want women getting their programming from anybody but you, especially in a trying time like this.
Right.
Especially in a trying time like this, man. You got to go fucking man up, go have a sit down with her and fucking rectify this shit, bro. Now. Like, not tomorrow. You need to go handle this now.
Yeah, like I've been spending like way too much time away, like, and she even says it, but I'm like, yo,
Bro,
like, why
22
would I want to
hours?
be
You have
around?
22 hours a day to yourself, bro. That's more than a fucking enough. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? This is more of like a Peter Pan, I don't want to grow up childish thing of like you're making it seem like it's an inconvenience to you, but it's not that big of an investment. But it's all communication, dude. You have to inform her like what the fuck is going on. And like I said, women are futuristic. They live in the future. So if they don't see anything that's coming, or they're not planning anything, or they have no hope for what's to come, they're gonna fucking burn you to the ground. So get your fucking easel out, get those fucking paintings out, baby, and start making some fucking Picassos.
Yeah, bro, I'm about to catch up right now. I'm about to probably head back there and just chill. Like, damn, bro, like I just really needed to talk to someone who actually has been through this shit. So I really appreciate your
Of course,
insight.
brother. Best of luck to you, man.
You can hear me?
Now I can start over.
Yo, can you hear me? All right, I was talking about how before you brought up how you talked about worry and problems in your life and how you just need to like pick up more problems to like get rid of the worry.
100%.
And okay, so what do you think about being a jack of all trades? Because I find myself like I've been that person my whole life. Like I really can never focus on one thing. I have to have like 50 things going at one time
It's the
just to,
it's the
be at peace.
it's the holy grail of archetypes because experts, people who are specialized in one thing, their only mission in life is to come in and rescue a jack of all trades who ran into a problem. You understand? Because
Yes.
specialists, there's no really no risk involved at that point because they've mastered their craft. So they usually have like a standalone business. They're usually doing consulting, et cetera. They're troubleshooting. Specialists are out there troubleshooting problems that jack of all trades are running into. That's their fucking client base. So if you get yourself in a jam, you can always hit up an expert if you don't know how to move forward. You know what I'm saying? But they don't have that latitude because they're the expert. So it's the guy who's painting shots and being wild and in chaos and throwing shit around. He's the motherfucker who runs into the issues that the expert has to come in and solve for you. So it's the peak archetype. You're in the power position. But I'll tell you this for
Right.
a
Because
fucking fact. I'll tell you this for a fact, man. You are as a man. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you. You are measured as a man by society in society's eyes by the caliber of your problems and not your accomplishments. No one really gives a fuck about your accomplishments. They care about the caliber of problems that you have to solve.
type shit.
The
Type
caliber,
shit, yeah,
the
because I find
caliber
myself
of the
being that
fucking
guy.
problems. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I saw an interview with Dana White, one of the hardest interviews I've ever seen. Motherfucker, I didn't know this. Before he was the CEO of UFC, he was 40 million in debt trying to launch that company. And the motherfucker sitting across from him said, "How did you manage that? How did you walk through life knowing that you were 40 million in debt?" He said, "It didn't fucking matter because I knew I was going to be a billionaire." And that's like that pattern that you see every big dog in any domain. It follows the same fucking rubric every fucking time. Mountain of debt, didn't care, knew they were gonna be so rich it was gonna erase the fucking game board in one fucking grand slam, one swing of the bat. It was all gonna be over, and they fucking carried on like it was nothing. Sherpa, a mountain Sherpa hiking up the fucking mountain. Didn't matter. And he had that blase cavalier attitude towards it, as they all did. Donald Trump, all these motherfuckers were many hundreds of millions in debt, tens of millions in debt. All of them fucking figured it out. Why did I say your success as a man is proportional to the amount of debt that you can carry? I'm not even talking financial debt. Think about the other debts that you're in emotionally, the fucking relationships that you're in out of sympathy that you haven't been able to get rid of, the friends that you don't even like anymore. Those are all debts. You can carry that on your back until you win, and then you can bring out the fucking weed cutters. But my point is, I don't believe in cutting those things out and cutting out the bad until you get to the top of the summit because it's all fuel up there. Like, I don't believe in spring cleaning. I don't believe in pausing halfway up the mountain and doing a fucking inventory check. How's my state of mind? How's my emotions? How's my welfare? Fuck all that. You got to
Right.
get up. You got to
Right.
get up to the top, and then you can go back and get the balance sheet out and start totaling things up and start making things right. But until you get there, I told you this before, you're gonna have to carry 1,000 fucking monkeys on your back. So you better be strong. You better be strong and you better keep those legs moving.
Right. Yeah, because the other day I seen it said something about like if you move fast enough, you don't have to worry about things. It was backwards. It said if you're out of control, it means you're moving fast enough. And I find myself in that period of my life where it's just like I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm just moving.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's how everybody who's won has won. They had no idea what the fuck was going on, but they were moving so fast that they were able to kind of see opportunities in the periphery and kind of scalp it along the way. That's how it works. You just got to keep moving forward, though. You can't get hung up on the
Type
little
shit.
things because those problems have to sometimes keep stacking. Sometimes those problems just compound on you, and you have to sit there and be uncompromising. I mean, that's very much been my situation 100 times in my life. I could have sold out. I could have taken the easy road. I could have gotten myself out of a ton of jams, taking weaker, lesser opportunities than I knew that I was worth. But I suffered through it, and I let myself be extremely broke and hurting and suffering until I could recapitalize on the big opportunities again. And the problem is if I was taking those small opportunities along the way, I'm burning all that fuel that I would have been able to throw on the huge fire that I need when it's coming. So I stay ready for the big stuff, and I let all the little shit and all the unimportant shit die. And
Let that shit die out.
that's actually a great fucking strategy, because then when you hit big, you're gonna hit really fucking big. Really fucking big. You know, and I'll tell you this, man, the hardest part about this type of lifestyle where you're a maniac and you're chaotic and you don't live with any safety nets, no strings attached, it's the people around you that you have to really fucking manage, because they're gonna think on paper sometimes you look dead. If I told you, man, how many times in my life on paper I looked so fucking dead, there's no way this motherfucker's coming back. On paper. Little do they know it was coming. And so
Be cooking.
managing the people that are doubting you and worried about your welfare and worried about your well-being and checking in with you and worried about your mental health, managing them and infusing them with the spirit and injecting them with the morale while you're hurting, while you're suffering, while you're in the pit, is extremely brutal and difficult. But it's worth it, because once you win, those people get very well endowed and taken care of. And that
Right,
will
because that's the
happen.
only way I
That
know
will
I'm on the
happen.
right
I
path.
mean, if you are this archetype, truly, you'll have days where nobody believes in you. Everyone thinks you're toast. Everyone thinks you can't pull this off. Everyone's worried because no one could believe that you would put yourself in a position like this. People are going to be like, dude, why don't you go for the safety? Like, why don't you have some little stream of income? It's like, no, motherfucker, you don't understand. I got to make 20 million this year. Like, I don't have time to be building a side arm or a side business, because I need all my energy and attention focused on the big cake that I'm going after. And by the way, I know a ton of people who live like this, and it works out for them 10 out of 10 times if they hold on long enough and don't eject too early. Some don't, though. I mean, obviously, that's the dangerous game we play.
It's probably not even about playing the cards, right? It's just play the fucking
That's
cards.
it, man.